nobody saw those two first goals coming.
Yeah.
Especially the first one.
How good were those free kicks, coach?
Declan Rice will never score any better free kick like that again.
I don't think we've seen a Barca team this good, this dominant since Pep's team. I think Villa can win.
Seriously, against this Paris Saint-Germain team?
I'm telling you. Look, Villa have what Liverpool don't have. They have physicality and the willingness to run.
Gets in England, but if you leave him in the middle of the pass, say you be offensive team, you be expansive team.
No. If you don't get DM, you see, he can do the job. He's not as good as the Rodriguez and the Partey.
Not even that.
He can do the job.
Not even that. He's just not a DM.
You say Pogba. If Pogba is sitting, but he tells you that Rice will play plus Pogba. He go fit do am.
He go fit play plus Samu, but
so
only DM.
Who?
Oh, relax. We'll announce it soon.
I say, not myself. No. If you're not coming to dressing room, we'll find a question for your call.
Why?
Why for coming?
You go get him. You go get him.
Go. We'll make it go.
Pull him, make it go. Make it go.
You say mix it.
You make ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mallam Go podcast. It is on the back of 2 brilliant nights of football in the UEFA Champions League. But first off, let me say a massive thank you to all of you who did join us to do the watch along over the Champions League Tuesday, where we saw Bayern take on Inter Milan and Real Madrid away at Arsenal in 2 very, very captivating games. And so there'll be more of that happening. So as always, like us, follow us, subscribe, put on the bell in notifications so that once we drop any post on YouTube, you'll be the first to get a hint of it. Thank you very much. Keep your comments coming. We love engaging with you. All right, so then, we are here seated for the podcast today. Today, I'm with Coach Nimley. I'm with Daniel Cranton and Victor Achu Tamaklo. Dan, you've been busy on your laptop. Are you doing some project work?
No, I play FM.
Football Manager.
Quick.
Football Manager 25.
23.
23.
Yeah.
Which team are you coaching?
Arsenal.
So you're the brain behind.
Quick. I mean, I know.
Coachy.
I mean, I know.
Coachy.
I mean, I know.
Coachy.
Real quick.
Coachy.
We work that thing.
I met some guy. So over the weekend, I attended the wedding on Saturday. I went for the Thanksgiving on a Sunday at Achimota Central English Assembly. Achimota English Assembly. And I met this guy. He mentioned his name. He said the word. He's a big fan of the pod. He mentioned his name, but the name, you know me. I'm not very good with names at first.
Yeah, just like me.
But I kept,
unless I see the person.
Unless I see you again, something very.
Call it.
But the name that's like I managed to keep was Haaland. He said, he mentioned his name, he said, AKA Haaland. I said, okay, yeah, Haaland. I'll give you shout out. Give me shout out. Give me shout out. I said, Haaland, I'll give you shout out. But the real name I forget. So the Haaland way he did Church of Pentecost English Assembly at Chimotano. Charlie, this be your shout out.
Charlie, comment in the.
Today, if I get some, I get shout outs. I go there. You see the shelf for the psychiatric, no?
Yeah, for the rich.
The rich side, the shelf. Then get some bakery before there.
Yeah.
That one, bakery. Yeah. I go buy some sausage roll for there. And they can't pay away. The manager get up. His name be Alex.
Alex, who?
It's
on the house, boy.
It's on the house.
It's on the house, boy.
I chop the thing crazy.
You know Alex.
I taught his junior sister at Christian High.
Oh, okay.
And she's now a very brilliant little girl, Hillary. I normally refer to her as my daughter.
Yeah.
And hoping to become a future pilot.
Fantastic.
Yes, they get girl brain rough.
You
get head. So anytime I'm attached to Alex and his mother and the family. Yeah. So anytime I reach that shell, no more Alex. Oh yeah, low. I know will be like a coach me back. Normally I like the pie. The meat and the fish. I take 2.
Quick.
Anytime I go 2 meat, 1 meat, 1 fish, 2 pie, then I get the drink. I just enter there. Quick, coach, you pick anything.
Tell Alex, you sport there.
No, Alex, you guys.
Check like we were for pass there.
You for pass there.
So like to all of you out there, sometimes we meet some of you, sometimes we don't meet a lot of you. But for all of you that we've not even met, we know. You know you're the guys who keep the podcast going. So please keep it going. Let's get straight into the action. Since you've been
Arsenal.
Today I forget my dodopo. Charlie, you see, I can't know what I do.
But it's always in your bag.
It's all I'm not in school today. So
yeah. So
Charlie.
Okay, you've been playing. Okay, no. What this I'll do? I'll leave that game for last, so we can get through the other games quickly and spend a bit more time on that.
That would be great.
Game.
That would be better.
So let's start off on that same day. We saw at the Allianz Arena Bayern Munich play against Inter Milan. Coach, I was with you and Achu the whole night.
That's right.
On the watch along.
That's right.
We saw Inter Milan and Bayern Munich. Coach, what did you make of that game?
You see, truth be told, statistically, not only that, even to some extent, football-wise, Inter Milan is by far, if not the best, I think the second or third best team in the Champions League this season. They've been brilliant. And for me, it hurts that most people don't talk about the head coach of Inter Milan and the work he's done and he continues to do.
It's underrated a little bit, I think.
That, in my view, is so sad for football because he's actually one of the very good managers out there. Currently in world football, he's among the top 3, in my view. If I'm asked to pick top 3 managers in world football, I'll pick Inzaghi.
You pick Amorim?
No, don't pick for me. Don't pick for me. Yeah. Amorim at Lisbon, I'll pick.
Yeah.
But wait.
The United version some way.
The United version, this is not his team.
Yeah.
He's managing someone else's team. When he gets his team, we'll see. Maybe we'll judge him from there. But look, Bayern Munich, they took a huge gamble at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
If I sit on the board of Bayern Munich, I wouldn't have sanctioned the appointment of Vincent Kompany. I wouldn't. I would tell them the stature, the image of Bayern Munich, Kompany needed to do a bit more.
He was their 5th, 6th choice.
He was even never any of their choice. Because they were not getting what they really wanted.
Yeah. They settled with him. But has he had a terrible season?
No, he hasn't.
He's coming first.
He hasn't. But his inexperience in the job at this level is beginning to tell.
To show, yeah.
And it's so sad that it's telling at the most important, at the crucial stage of the season. Yes, I get it. They went into the game with a lot of injuries to try, tested players.
Look, UCL wasn't there, Upamecano wasn't there.
Even not them. The
Alfonso Davies is not playing.
I think the most
is not there.
important injury or the injury that is actually having the toll on them is the Manuel Neuer injury because he's a proper goalkeeper. He's an organizer. He reads the game.
The rumors are that he could be back for the game at the Mieza.
That would be brilliant. Yeah. Because if he's back, then that would be brilliant because he may give them a bit more solidity at the back.
Yeah.
At least a bit more voice, a bit more presence. Because you could clearly see that they were in 6s and 7s at right back, left back, even through the middle. Look at the goal Inter Milan scored.
That was brilliant.
A first-class Bayern Munich centre-back with Manuel Neuer seeing the cross, and he would have done some organization for them to have nullified that threat. But having said that, look, Inter Milan, the back 3, middle 5, front 2, super, super excellent. There's this Italian boy.
Barella.
Nicolo.
Look.
Energizer battery.
He's a very good player. He works tirelessly for the team.
Yeah.
And his passing range, excellent.
Yeah.
His reading of the game, excellent. As to when he needed to, or he needs to join the attack to support the front 2, excellent. You cannot talk about Inter Milan and not talk about their left wing back.
Yeah.
Di Marco.
He wasn't even asked in that game. So Carlos Augusto played that game. But he puts in that cross, Carlos Augusto, brilliant cross.
And for me, his replacement, the one whose name you just mentioned.
Augusto, Carlos.
Speaks volumes of the quality they have.
And that's the thing about Inter Milan team because look,
it's like in every row.
Yeah, he's
he can play a second team.
His midfield team is Mkhitaryan.
That would be equally good.
Yeah, his first choice midfield team is Mkhitaryan, Barella, Calhanoglu. But he has got
what's the name of that Turkish guy? Calhanoglu.
But he has got Zielinski.
Yeah.
Asnali.
Look at that.
Fratesi.
Look at that.
Like all of these are incredible ballers.
They are ballers.
If Fratesi starts his first team.
Like Bayern Munich on the day needed to play a bit differently. For me, what I don't like is when you acknowledge that you are not at full strength, but yet still you insist that this is the way we are going to do it. We are known for this, so let's do it this way. If you see, anytime you try to do that, if the opposition is a quality opposition, they will expose you.
Yeah.
And I felt that now there's no away goal rule. So when Bayern equalized 1-1, looking at the timing, I think they were left for like 8 minutes.
Very late in the game.
I think that was where companies' inexperience was very,
because
very
to be caught on the counter, having just equalized late in the game.
unacceptable.
They were.
Yes. Completely unacceptable. And I was telling myself, like, look, this was one of the teams that made me had issues with Otuado at the beginning of his tenure. You remember the game we lost against Angola in Kumasi?
Yeah.
0-0, 90 minutes.
Just close it. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. If you're a top manager, it's okay.
Chinchina.
It's better to end 0-0 than chinchina to lose 1-0. Nah, that was one of my biggest problems with him. But I want to believe he's learned.
He's learned, yeah, probably.
So when I saw that happen to company, I said, hey, what Otuado annex coaching is this?
Otuado
annex. Coaching is this?
Coach, you're not good.
No, it's good because
Go to other better pass company.
1-1. The away goal counts for nothing.
No away goal. So
It counts for nothing. You see, even if the away goal was still operational,
1-1 is better than losing.
1-1 is better than losing. And the Inter Milan team was so dangerous. Anytime they went forward, you could clearly see that these guys, even at some point in time, I think they were very wasteful.
Yeah.
They were very, very wasteful. The final pass was just not done right. If they had picked up in the second half, there were 3-4 moments where all they needed to do was to pick the right pass. And I think they would have buried Bayern Munich.
Right.
1-1 is open. But look, if you look at Inzaghi, the head coach of Inter Milan, the quality they've got in their team, and the fact that, is it 2-3 years ago, two seasons ago,
the City season,
they were in the final.
Yeah.
They were
The winner
inches
of this,
away.
the winner of this will play Barcelona. I think if you put Bayern Munich against Barcelona, Barcelona will wall up them a minimum of 10 goals. A minimum of 10
I don't talk
goals.
to thee.
A minimum of 10 goals. So I want to see Barca Inter.
That'll be a cracker.
That will be a proper football match.
that'll be
Proper football match.
Yeah.
For all of us to witness. So I hope Inzaghi
predicting
and his
Inter
boys
gonna go through.
will finish the job.
Well, the game ended 2-1, Danny. And even though I thought Inter Milan, or many people have said Inter Milan dominated the game, the scoreline wasn't necessarily dominating. And it was with a Harry Kane that had an off day, if you like, missed chances that Harry Kane could easily close his eye and finish them off.
That first half one.
That first half one. He latched on to one volley.
The one
which,
came off the
The bar.
that's what the first half one he called it came off outside of the post. Would Bayern Munich look back on that game and think that, yeah, even though Inter were good, we were still 1-1 and we made the mistake. And if they can do a bit better than they did at home, they maybe have a chance somewhere.
Yes. Because company is very inexperienced. It's only an inexperienced coach who will think that way, and that's how he will think. And we know. Look, go through his very brief coaching career.
Yeah.
He has, and that's my problem with him. Coach alluded to it. He has a certain arrogance that he hasn't learned. And you have your style, you have your philosophy, fine. But even your bosses, those you played for, those you look up to, you have to make certain adjustments when you are playing certain teams at this level. Look, you know the game I washed my hands off company?
Which one?
The Celtic game.
Right.
Yeah.
Bayern shouldn't be here.
They shouldn't.
Bayern shouldn't be in this round.
Celtic were great. Brendan Rodgers
First
was
leg
amazing.
and second leg.
Yeah, Celtic were great.
If Bayern had, not even Kane, they don't even need Kane. If Bayern had, Celtic had Højlund, Rasmus Højlund.
No. Talk about mention another name. Maybe Liam Delap.
Jordan Ayew.
Yeah, Liam Delap.
Or Jordan.
Ayew, yeah. As for Højlund, I won't take it.
Like, simple. They were outplayed. He was outcoached. He qualified because of quality.
Yeah.
Individual
And
brilliance.
aura, of course. But we all knew, look, on paper, we all knew Inzaghi will outdo him. And if Bayern were going to have a chance in this tie, it was at the Allianz Arena.
Yeah.
Do you know why it's going to be even worse at San Siro? Because of his arrogance. He's chasing.
He will chase the game.
He will chase the game. He will leave it open.
And Inter is one of the most patient teams I've seen in
But which
in
he
the
shouldn't.
world.
Look, at 2-1,
No. No,
he's developing.
He will.
But he will.
Yeah,
of course.
he will.
I agree with you.
Knowing him, he will. And they are going to beat him. The only thing that will save him is Inter are not wicked. If they score 1-2, they'll stop.
They are okay.
They are okay. They can control the game even without having possession of the ball.
And they are comfortable.
And they are comfortable. They will choose when to counter, when not to. If they pick the ball, they can see space, they will pass it sideways. That's the thing about Inter. I told Atu today, I wish Bayern were facing Barca. Because, you see, I want company to succeed. So somebody needs to beat him some beating.
He learns quick.
That will make him learn. Like, he needs to lose some game that will pump some sense into
in
him.
a manner that will take away the pride.
I'm telling you that this, what Bayern is doing this, is sackable form. Nagelsmann was doing this thing. Nagelsmann went out of the cup. He's out of the cup.
Yeah.
Bayern is out of the cup. They are leading the league, which is normal. Champions League, you are going out in the quarterfinal. This was Nagelsmann form. They said it's not good enough.
But it's on the back of a trophyless season. So, and it's
That's not how
qualified for the
Bayern don't
No, I'm
think.
saying, like,
Bayern don't think
this
like
on
that.
the back of a trophyless season.
No, but granted, maybe for the first time, they have to think like that.
No. Do you know
Because
why
of
they
the
don't
manager
think?
they've gone
Do you know why they don't think like that? There's nobody and there's no team in the Bundesliga that has the consistency
Of course,
to
I
win
agree.
the league back to back. They have financial muscle. They have superior
They
players.
always dominate.
So they are supposed to do. As for the league, it's not. Bayern are never going to think about
They don't
it.
assess
Was it even possible for them to go back to back season without winning it? What he's doing is normal. Anybody they had hired would have won it. Anybody. It's the Champions League you have to crack it in. That's what they are chasing. But Bayern are not going to lower.
Built a squad good enough to compete in the Champions League. I mean, if you are being fair to visit company and buying themselves, do they have a team good enough to go deep in the Champions League?
Do you know why I think so? Last season, we were saying the same thing about their squad.
Yeah.
But they went to the semi-final.
Yeah.
They were 10 minutes away from reaching the final and Real Madrid happened. You see, that's big team. They don't need to build you the perfect squad, but it's workable. A better coach could at least compete with Inter.
Yeah.
A better coach will have Inzaghi thinking. But Inter will win this game. It's not even a conversation.
Is that qualifying?
Inter are qualifying straight.
Actually, what do you make of this game? I want us to move on to talk about the but your take on this one.
Whatever we say about company, there are also mitigating factors. Yes, it is true that a better coach gets more out of this team. But if you are buying, I don't think that some of the issues with the squad that remain unresolved should be unresolved at this point.
Yeah, that is true. It's
Especially because after losing the league to Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern's posture on the transfer market should have been, we don't want to tolerate the possibility of this happening. So we are fixing our squad, right? To leave our next manager in the position to compete on the continent. And I will never stop talking about the Goretzka situation, because if you are a big team and you tell the whole world that this guy is not part of our plans, press conference after press conference, make it obvious that he's not going to be part of the team, then 2 months into the new season, the new manager is forced to start him, because beyond all the talking, and that's where I have a problem with Bayern, that if you make it clear that player A or this group of players are not going to be part of the team, you need to make the sort of investment that leaves the new manager with options that make it impossible for him to go back to those players.
Exactly.
And it's not just Goretzka, Eric Dyer as well.
Dyer. He came as a lone player.
Come on. Further up the pitch, Jamal Musiala gets injured, and now if you take away Olise and the football he's playing, there is no creative spark from the team.
Because Gnabry is never fit.
So
Leroy Sané.
Everything we've said about company is true. But Bayern also need to look at themselves
they have
and say that
contributed.
perhaps a bigger manager would not have tolerated and accepted the squad that you've given them. So yes, maybe what company is doing is a sackable offense.
Yeah.
But perhaps out of admission of their own guilt and culpability, Bayern may present that as a mitigating factor, and they'll probably keep company even if they don't qualify.
Because who did they buy? I think they bought Olise.
Only Olise.
And the midfielder from Fulham.
Palhinha.
Yeah,
Palhinha.
Yes.
They were the two guys they bought.
Yeah.
The other lamentable situation for me is the Inter coach. Look, we're all sitting here excited about the team that he has built.
Yeah.
If you take any of the members of his team out of Inter, I guarantee you they won't look as good in other teams. which goes to tell you that everything we are seeing, how good the team is, how good those individuals have looked, is a function of his coaching, the ideas he's able to come up with, and the environment is created for the players to thrive in those tactical environments. Because we sit here and we say that irrespective of who interfaces, they have the right players and the right strategy, and they can execute. They can play on the front foot. They can play high press. The mid block that we saw against Bayern, excellent execution. They can go low block. They can play expansive brand of football. If you have a manager like that, but for Inter's finances, they perhaps should have equipped him, especially after they make the Champions League final. And that's my only disappointment with Inter. But unfortunately, it's a broke club. They are perpetually flirting with insolvency. So sometimes it's almost unrealistic to expect that, because they went to the Champions League final, won the league, and then who did they sign to back the manager?
Nobody.
If Pep Guardiola...
No. They signed. Okay,
Turan,
so last season, coming into this season, they brought in
immediately after
the final, after the Champions League final.
Immediately after the Champions League.
Lukaku left.
Turam came in. But that team that went to the
Lukaku
Champions
left,
League
Turan
final
came.
was, I think, good enough. And they didn't necessarily needed to make any overhaul, I think. But this season, they realized they needed a lot more backup.
And who did they bring in?
They brought in Zielinski, who was the best midfielder in Italian league the season prior. They brought him in. And then they brought in Davide Fratesi, who Arnautovic came like 2 seasons, like last season. Yeah, he was there last season. So they brought in Benjamin Pavard.
None of those are signings that move the needle. These signings have worked because of the manager. Because even for Zielinski, in the context of the Champions League, he's not a difference maker. Right?
Yeah.
That is why in the build-up to this game, all of us were looking at him, at Inzaghi. And wherever Inter get to, it is to Inzaghi.
Credited to him.
I look around Europe and I say that he's exactly the sort of manager who, if he finds himself at a big club with resources, he's one of those guys who can win the Champions League and defend it. Because he spent his entire career building teams and having to have those players moved on. I hope for his sake that Inter end the season at least in the final.
Right. Okay. So now let me know what you think of that game. Bayern Munich playing against Inter Milan. The return leg will be in Italy. Do you think Bayern have got a chance, or you think Inter Milan are going to walk through to the semis of that very game? All right. Let's do the other game from last night, or from the Wednesday night, the Barcelona game and Dortmund game. I mean, Barcelona were just too good for Dortmund.
Maybe a bit on the Villa.
No, we'll come to the... Yeah, I think the Villa... PSG we need more attention, as well as the Arsenal. And so I just wanted to get the Barca and the Dortmund game out of the way. It was all Barca. It was always going to be Barca. There was no way Dortmund were going to, lay a finger on them. And in the end, that was what it turned out to be.
Look, this Barcelona team is more or less a replica of the Spanish team that won the Euros. Why do I say so?
Which of the Euros?
The recent one.
Okay.
The recent one.
You know, say I had to talk about the Euros. I forget say Spain win the Euros recently. My mind go 2012. So I was like, which of the Euros? Because to be fair, once you mention Euros and Spain, I should have thought of. So I thought Euros was say, hey, be true.
An old man.
And they grew.
I say so because if you look at games they've drawn, games they've lost, it's not because the opponent was better. You can never be better than them. Because every player on that pitch is technically good. The Kubasis, the Martinez, the Pedri. You can mention every player, even including the goalkeeper, Szczesny.
Yeah.
They are all technically good. Now, if you happen to play against a technically good team, Banca, and if you look at their work rate, the manner in which they press and suffocate the opponent, you look at us and say, wow, how are we going to beat these guys? But football in itself has got its own story line. Okay? So we've seen them lose some games this season. But at the end of the day, you can only hope that they will lose games based on the fact that they are not lucky.
And they've come to a very steady form at the right time of the season.
The right time of the season. You will not dominate them. You will not create more chances than them. It will never happen. Every game they've played this season, they've created the most chance in all their games. So it's up to them. Like recently when they drew in the La Liga against Real Betis, you watched that game.
Yeah.
You should have won like
They should
5-1.
have won like 6-7, 8-0. You understand? So yesterday, going to the game, Dortmund themselves knew that it's about damage limitation. We hope that these guys will have one of their off days in front of goals, and then we can go and surprise them. But in doing so, they also didn't help their cause. When you are playing against a quality opposition, one of the things that you should never do is to give the ball away carelessly. Is to just do things that will put the rest of the team under incessant pressure. Because you know that these guys are that good. Any advantage they get, they should work for it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be the one presenting the advantage to them.
I agree.
If you do that, then there's no contest here. And if you look at the game yesterday, from the blast of the whistle, I agree in that first half, Dortmund had like two decent.
There was some.
Their striker was the Gurasi.
Yeah.
But it was throughout one just before the interval and then one after.
Exactly. And I told where I was, there was this guy sitting by me. I said, look, these guys, if you get a chance and you don't score, these people, they will score you plenty. And Barcelona is not only creating and scoring, but look, the fact that you see young boys, Kubasi, look, he's, I don't know, but in terms of proper young talent, defender, I don't remember seeing any defender like him in the past 10 years. If you look at his stature and the reading of the game, his passing ability, his tackling quality, his confidence on the ball, nobody's coaching him. If you look at the way he plays in that back line, nobody's coaching him.
I mean, coming into the season, a lot of Barca fans were scared.
They were scared.
Because
Araujo had gotten injured.
Who was injured,
and then they went and brought this left-footed defender. Nobody knew.
But Kubasi has been brilliant. But
Kubasi has been brilliant. Look,
But from last season.
From last season, actually. In fact, I noticed him from last season. I said, this guy.
But he's
as a young lad,
sure, but this season
you are not sure.
He's giving us the assurance that he's the guy.
He's
the G.
He's in to stay. And for me, because they are a team that believe in every department of the game, having the feel of it, they are a difficult team to play with.
Yeah.
Occasionally, they will go long.
And Dortmund at the Alliance Signal Iduna.
No, they take another 4 or 5.
But they've already collected this season.
They've collected from them 5 already.
Yeah, it's a rematch.
You see? So they'll go and take another 4 or 5. And for me, I'm happy for Lewandowski. Yesterday, I watched him and I said, look, this guy, I think he stayed too long.
Dortmund is the team he has scored most goals against. Robert Lewandowski.
I don't know, but
he's got like 26 goals against
they
them.
are his former employers.
He keeps beating them and
They
ripping
actually
them.
built him.
Yeah.
And then Bayern Munich took him. He used him to punish them.
Every
now
time.
he's moved to Barcelona. He's punished them for too late. So look, they are good. I want to see Inter Barcelona in that semi-final. I've got my pick about who will win the Champions League.
We'll talk about that. Let the time. We know already.
Now you know it's not.
By the way you are talking there.
No, but I want to see Inzaghi against Flick.
Now that takes me to the question I want to ask you, Danny. How much credit does Hansi Flick deserve? I remember at the start of the season, across the globe, not too many people thought Barca would be in the hands to win the quadruple. They've already won the Super Cup. They're in the final of the
Just before
Copa del Rey.
Just before he can. I remember on the show, I don't know whether it was here or elsewhere. I said Flick. I said he was not smart.
Yeah, it was here.
It was here.
Why would you take this team?
Why would you take the team? They are not value players. They are not. They are broke. They are not. But all of a sudden, he walks in there.
Yeah.
But look, it speaks volumes of the Barcelona academy. I'm sure he saw something in the academy. He said, look, I can work with this guy because his system is based on what? Energy. And the best people to burn the energy are the young guys.
Yeah. So again, Danny, because like Coach is saying, when he was coming, nobody really thought, he could take Barca to the next step. But he's taking them to. Barcelona are struggling really financially. Yet they might win everything this season. How much credit does Hansi Flick deserve? And what has he really done? Because he hasn't brought in players from the Xavi.
No, he
team.
didn't buy. Maybe the only player he brought was Omo.
I'm going to say something. I'll elaborate on it small. But one day, maybe at the end of the season, we should have that debate.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen a Barca team this good, this dominant since Pep's team. Akoto tweeted it. And it got me thinking. What you said is true. Nobody has outplayed Barca this season. And teams have tried different styles.
Yeah.
People have tried to sit back, counter. They have an answer for everything.
You tried.
And they faced some really good teams this season.
Yeah.
Look, they faced their biggest rivals twice.
They didn't make it a rivalry at all.
9 goals they have scored. I don't think I've seen this thing from a Barcelona team since Pep's team.
Not even the Luis Enrique team.
No. Luis Enrique's team they were very good. In fact, for me, they were the most entertaining.
For them, they have style, they have finesse. But the work rate.
There were games they struggled.
Yeah, the work rate.
I'm saying this Barcelona. No, think about it. Like Barca have won games. Even the games they've lost. The tagline is they should have taken their chance. It's not like the other team outplayed them. It's not like the other team defended very well or stopped them. No, they were their own enemies. The team is good though. Like they are so good to the point. I'm struggling to find like weakness on paper. You remember before the El Clasico?
They solved the Highland problem. The Highland issue against Las Palmas. We saw it against the Real Madrid team. Mbappe and Victor didn't take this chance.
That's what I was coming to.
Okay.
On paper, you know what to do to be able to beat them. But in practice, it's not working. You see, that's the thing.
They have an antidote to it.
On paper, we're talking about the high line. Somebody should be running from deep. Las Palmas did this. But you know the number of times they were caught offside. The thing is, you see, they'll catch you. The 2 times they don't catch you offside, you have to be clinical. And even when you score, Barca will create like 10 very good chances. So your chances of, you see, football is 2 things. You have to defend, you have to attack.
Yeah.
Yes, we all know on paper, we know how to attack them. Be patient, exploit the high line. But what's the guarantee that you'll be able to defend against them? And then secondly, when you get your opportunities, you take.
Because they are clinical. Yes. They
don't even need Barca. They are not clinical. See, if Barca were clinical, they would have scored over 150 or 200. I'm telling you, this
season they play minimum should have been 5.
You remember the Valencia game they played? Yeah. The one first half, they had scored like 6.
Yeah.
Look, that game should have been 13 or 14. If you see, that game I was watching, I was like, nah, this is FIFA. Like, it can't be real.
It's like you're playing against that truth.
See, what that simply means that Danny has been disciplining at you.
Even practice.
Come on, sit down.
See, look, like Barca are good. And to be frank, what coach said is, I absolutely agree. The only team that on paper, I think we can see like a proper footballing struggle, like a matchup, proper competition is Inter. The way Inter play, the number of bodies they have behind the ball. I want to see how, you see?
As an Inter style, could be what stops Barca.
And I'm looking at it because of the sometimes 5 at the back.
Back 5.
The wide areas, they have it covered. They have enough bodies in the ball. You see, Barca they have players who are hugging the touchline. Thank you. Create space in the channels, and then they exploit those spaces. There are so many bodies in the middle. They can play 1, 2, 3 passes in between. Inter have bodies to cover those spaces. But
when Inter's midfielders have got the ball, they're not in a hurry. They can keep the ball.
Thank you. So even and you see, Inter have enough bodies around. If Barca are pressing them, and they have the players with the technical ability to also pick the passes and diffuse the pressure. But when I think back to that Arsenal-Inter game, Arsenal went past them. Arsenal were just not able to score.
Yeah, it's true.
And when I look at it and you look at the similarities between Barcelona's style and Arsenal's style, Saka wide, Martinelli wide. They have players who come in, create spaces in between. Look, Barca will score Inter.
But you're not even talking about that
No,
game.
but Barca was scoring.
Okay.
As
Now,
of
let me.
it's a dandy.
Okay, that's it. Andy. Actually, should I take you to the PSG game, or you have something to say about the Barca game? I wanted you to talk about what Luis Enrique has done with this Paris Saint-Germain team. It's been at least in the champion. As for French League, they've not lost a game. They've got 6 games to go. They are champions. But in the Champions League, it's been a proper season of 2 halves. The league phase is completely different from what we are seeing in the knockout phase. In the knockout phase, they are playing some of the best football we are seeing in the Champions League. We saw them against Liverpool home and away in a game that shouldn't even have traveled to the penalty shootouts. And we saw them against Aston Villa in the first leg. What is that Luis Enrique has done with this PSG team that looks completely different?
I think year on year, his team gets to know him better as the season progresses. So last season, they had a similar start to the Champions League. Remember the Newcastle United defeats in the first round? Excuse me. And everyone was using that to point to the fact that this was a team that didn't have character, didn't have personality, and all of that. But immediately after the first round, we saw a different PSG that could find multiplicity of solutions, irrespective of who they were facing. Even in the manner that they were eliminated in the semi-final, they were so unlucky. And in the history of the competition, no team has rattled the upright that many times in a single game.
Yeah, against Dortmund.
And those are things you cannot legislate for. A shot beats the goalkeeper only to be stopped by the post on 4 different times in one particular tie. I mean, they were simply unlucky. What has worked for them this season is that over time, he has figured out the best way to deploy Ousmane Dembele. But beyond that, it is how they move the ball around and how they draw the opponents out of their shape and structure is what has worked the treat for them. And it is, look, what he's done is incredibly difficult because this was the first season without Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe took away about 35 goals from the team.
Yeah.
Look, in any proper analysis, we should be talking about a team that was supposed to drop off, especially in Europe. Because, and check every other big team that lost players in the caliber of Mbappe in the season immediately after Cristiano after Real Madrid, Cristiano after Juventus, Messi after Barcelona, Thierry Henry after Arsenal, even Henry after Barcelona. In the next season, check those who replaced him and how difficult it was for them. So this was a season where the PSG attack was supposed to struggle, especially also because there are so many new variables that have been thrown into the mix. There's Ridoué from the summer. In fact, in the middle of the season, PSG was still making additions to the squad.
Yeah.
Richard Varaskelia.
Yeah.
So what he's done is uncommon. It's unheard of.
Even the boy from Brazil, Pacho also came in.
Eintracht Frankfurt.
Gabriel Magalhaes replacement.
Here's the thing.
Upgrades.
And I'm going to say that as far as the young centre-backs in Europe are concerned, there's nobody as good as him.
As good as who?
As Pacho.
Jai.
Oh, Kubasi is better.
Kubasi far better.
Because of who he plays for.
Kubasi if the United like we win Champions League.
Because of who he plays for. What? Because of who he plays for, there's a certain assumption that, there is something he doesn't have.
He be Ramos, then pick.
Bro,
somebody's making
the football that we've seen Pacho play. The football that we've seen Pacho play. And you see, watch him against Liverpool over the 2 legs.
No, but the hype, yeah.
Even in, it is not hype.
No, the guy they play.
For me, the thing I'm saying that he's suffering because of PSG's branding.
Yeah,
everyone who plays for PSG
the French League,
has an asterisk about them, the Farmers League, and a whole lot of nonsense. But in terms of purely the body of work, there's not a young centre-back in Europe that can hold a torch to him.
I say Kubasi.
And you see, himself, mention the name for me, the Portuguese left-back.
Nuno Mensch.
Nuno Mensch.
Our player.
Bro.
Nuno Mensch.
Then they ball. And for me, beyond even the tactical aspect of it, the fact that he can take so many new elements into the team, make changes. And you asked about one other thing that he's also been able to do that has helped is finding between the Zaire Emery Zaire Emery, João Neves, and then Vitinha,
and then
and
Fabian
then
Ruiz.
Which three combinations among those four players is the best for the team? No, when he started the season, Fabian Ruiz wasn't always playing.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't playing in every game. And he said that he was not giving... And at the time, this was difficult because Fabian Ruiz had just come out from the European Championships and was about the best midfielder in that competition. Some would say Rodri.
But they managed to give it to Rodri, which is fine. To set the tone for what was to follow. But you can move on.
But Lucho said,
no comment.
He is not my best midfielder.
Yeah.
Which was crazy, but he's done this before. Remember, in the treble season that he won at Barcelona, January, he said Messi returned from a D&D camp training, so Messi has to be suspended for some time and all of that. Is the man. He doesn't care who you are and what accolades you have won. Fortunately for him, the PSG he came to inherit is different from the PSG that Tuchel said that sometimes he felt like he has to be sports minister and resolve things that are not even his bit. They allowed him, gave him the authority and backed him that, yes, you may have won the European Championships, but the manager says for now, you are not going to be a starter in the team or you are not guaranteed to play in every game. That harmony that he's been able to foster and been allowed to, because in the past, coaches didn't have that level of liberty at PSG. But essentially, the midfield that has the ability to move the ball around quickly, when the tide is against them, just take the sting out of the game with the pass.
We now play some long ball to Hakimi. So it be long ball by the doing body on looking. Hey, get challenged the boys.
Whatever the game requires, if they had to take the sting out of the game and just knock the ball around, like they did at Anfield, they are capable of playing it. If they have before the second leg, I'm not sure, I don't remember who it was, but someone said, just like they struggled against Arsenal's intensity and physicality, they were going to struggle with Liverpool at Anfield. And I said, this is a team that has grown in leaps and bounds. They are a very different team from the one that choked at the Emirates. So you have a manager who has found the tactical solutions.
Yeah.
You have a manager who has been able to create a very harmonious relationship among players who are in direct competition. Some of them should be bona fide starters, but were not playing.
I mean, Bakolo didn't start the game. I mean, but he has started a lot of games for them. He was happy to come from the bench because the rest on the pitch are also great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now and then,
and then he has a Dembele who, for the first time in his career, looks like a manager has figured out what Dembele is all about.
In his club career. Canessa.
Yeah.
Because
but national team, how many games?
But Deschamps used him well in the
that's what I'm saying. You don't see.
No, there is that. I'm just saying that over a sustained period.
Mbappe, this thing, Dembele, Giroud, oh my team.
You see,
Pogba, Kante.
Over a sustained period, this is it. And for me, I'm very happy. Unfortunately, for a lot of us whose teams are not in the Champions League, you have so many likable teams at this stage.
I think the Champions it's great for neutrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who I'm supporting.
Who are in the position to win it.
Quick.
Yeah. Anyway,
so PSG meet the winner Arsenal
and Real Madrid. Okay, now let's talk about that game against Aston Villa a bit more. And let's look at Villa going into many people are saying the tie is done. It probably could be.
Villa.
Okay, now let's talk about Villa and the approach to the game. I thought they, as you'd expect, gave a lot of respect to PSG. They invited PSG on them because they had moments to maybe then take a little bit more risk getting behind them and all. But they opened the scoring, but that didn't last because of the quality of PSG. At the Villa Park, what is Unai Emery supposed to do to,
First of all, Rashford shouldn't come to the
stadium. Man, I had a problem with that number 9 role yesterday.
Why?
Unai Emery should have known better.
Why shouldn't Rashford come to the stadium?
He shouldn't come. Rashford.
Why?
No. Defeat.
No, but
all the games they've been winning, in the build up to
Chicho, why did Unai Emery play him first night yesterday?
I'm okay. I didn't think it was the right decision, but I can read into it.
He should sit down.
No, what he was trying to do, I think what he was trying to do.
He should sit down.
So there are two players I think he would have started ordinarily. Mm-hmm. He would have started Asensio because it's in great form for them, but he didn't. He doesn't have the great best of pace. He would have started Oli Watkins because he's their most assured goal scorer. But for a team that won't see a lot of the ball, was he going to trust Oli Watkins to travel the distance with pace? But more so, he wanted to play a lot of physical midfielders. Hence, McGinn, Ramsey, Rogers.
It's not.
I am talking about the selection of Rashford.
I'm saying. So when you play the physical midfielders as he did, the fastest forward player he has in the team potentially could be Rashford.
He doesn't run.
He's not faster.
He doesn't do anything.
So I think he's faster than Watkins over a long distance. I think he is.
Look, you can't
and
be
for a
fast
team that was going to say
and no
Rashford,
product.
he looks fast.
no, Watkins makes better runs, like in the box, in and
That is
around.
what matters.
But your team won't play around the box. Your team
But
wants to travel.
even Rashford, if you ask him to
So I'm
run,
thinking maybe that was what you was thinking.
Oh, dear.
I didn't think it was the great call, but I'm just trying to think aloud for him. Because why didn't Asensio start? Asensio is by far, in my opinion, the second half of the season, their best player. Even better than Ramsey and Rogers. He didn't start him. Watkins is the best goal scorer. He didn't start him. So maybe that could be it. He wanted the pace on the counter and the physicality in the middle of the park.
if you are thinking about the pace of the player, fine.
And also, the
But
experience and history with Rashford at the park difference. Bro, it counts. If Real Madrid are playing as almost say Madrid, Rashford, why you be there part the France? But why you be there? No,
You know why
Mbappe is what he is now? Look, Rashford blessed him. I forget that game. If he's coming, say, God bless us. You. I'm giving my ball to you.
Look,
Why you be there?
The two players haven't been the same.
Look, on the more serious note,
Rashford only played with him before that game.
those games not be. Look, on the more serious,
Yeah.
I think that was one of the. I won't say
It was poor.
Did Emery get it wrong?
Because even building from the back, you see, Rashford doesn't have pressing awareness.
the awareness to press,
He's
the awareness to drop. You see,
But Aston Villa didn't want to press, and that's the thing.
now look. There were times
Where did he want to
yesterday
press?
he needed to show up for the ball.
Yes.
There were times yesterday he needed to show up.
Even some
would have to block, and then won the
some
foul.
instances
Come
that
back to
looked
the
like
goal, yeah.
counter-attacking
Chad.
opportunities. Some that looked
know,
like, the one safe.
You know the
You know if you
runs.
take on boys.
The guy, if you can say he Messi,
Oh, okay. Zuku ne
he
aye.
do like this. He do like make you no come the stadium the second leg. If you didn't come,
Make we analyze
But
the
you see,
second leg.
I think Villa can win.
Seriously, against this
I'm telling
Paris
you.
Saint-Germain team.
I'm telling you. Look, PSG are very good. They are a very, very good team.
Yeah.
But Villa have what Liverpool don't have. They have physicality and the willingness to run. There are some games that, you see, look, Liverpool, no, they were 2-0 small. They thought they could play. You can't.
You can't.
With PSG, you
Slots
can't.
messed them up. Slots is my guy, but he didn't.
You shouldn't
manage.
have.
They were so tired.
No, not tired.
The weekend
They
before that,
played the way Liverpool, PSG wanted them to play.
play. That was the
after
issue.
what PSG did to them in Paris and the way Liverpool had to run around to repeat almost the same
Same
team
team
against
over the
Southampton,
weekend.
and then
It was
go.
poor.
Charlie,
And
the
it was
boys were
Southampton.
they were
They
tired.
could have rotated the team.
The
but
boys were tired.
that's
That's Lotto's mess, but it's okay.
for Villa. They have machines. They have players who can run off the ball. This is a sort of game where I watched PSG this weekend.
The game they want to win the title.
Was it the cup game? They played twice.
That was last midweek.
The
That was
4-2.
the 4-2.
The
Yeah,
4-2.
2-0, then they came to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, there's a way you can stop them. PSG are good though, but there's a way you can stop them.
How?
You have to want to run. Because the sending will send you. But when you pick the ball, the decisions when you have the ball, it needs to be on point. Look, Liverpool created scenarios.
No, there are plenty, a lot of them.
Plenty. It was just
a lot of them.
those
So many
things.
players were off color. Mo Salah was off color. Luis Diaz was off color.
Look, when it comes to one-on-one players who can pick up the ball one-on-one, go past Morgan Rogers. If he picks up the
It's a
ball,
bulldozer.
he can take on players. Villa just need to be very compact. That they are 4-4-2, no. Charlie, this game with Josh Duran game. No.
So we should go
I
and
don't forgot Lonam.
we go learn from Anasa.
But if anything, and if he even wants to insist on Rashford play, I think, to be frank, like playing Rashford wasn't bad, but how he used him was my issue. Players like Rashford, Watkins,
Leon Bailey,
no, he is on way. He
Daniel Malin.
Malin, Rogers. this is a game where a counter-attacking game is going to suit them. And again, I'm looking at the fact that Villa know that this is their last stop. There's no pressure on them.
The fans will come to enjoy themselves.
Enjoy. And you see,
you don't get any bigger than this.
PSG, in as much as they have been really good, I don't think they've walked into a situation, especially in this knockout, where they are expected to win. And the opposition that they are going to face has the arsenal and the ability to counter them.
To win?
Yes,
yes.
Over 2 legs.
They're facing Aston Villa.
But they've won the first leg already.
No. Over 2 legs.
Over 2 legs.
But
that is saying that Villa have got a chance.
So I believe that, and you see, it's the manager that is also giving me the faith. It's Unai Emery. It's a European fixture. If there's anybody who can fashion out a one-off tactic against anybody, it's Unai Emery. Me, I'm supporting Villa.
Villa to take out PSG.
I think Villa can cause an upset. Genuinely. A very strict, enjoyable counter-attacking game with the atmosphere at Villa Park.
So there are two things. Are you saying Villa can win against?
For me,
the Unai Emery thing, he's a specialist in the Europa. The other thing that Danny hasn't taken cognizance of, there is not a world where Aston Villa are able to execute the sort of game plan he's describing to get a 3-0 scoreline.
A 3-1.
No, this was 3-1.
They don't need 2-0. If they get 2-0, they shut all the way.
If you're
that's all. That Martin.
See, there is, even if 2-0, there is not a world where Aston Villa keep PSG from scoring. It's impossible. And
if you score one,
the PSG that we have come to
score
see
for
is now learning to be more clinical as the season progresses. So if you look at the games and some of the chances that they were missing about 5 or 4 weeks before they played Liverpool, up until that Liverpool match where they missed some chances at Anfield. From then on, the narrative has flipped. This time, there are games where they don't blow teams away in terms of performance, but by the scoreline they do. So if you look, the halftime of that cup game, they were horrible. They could not make sense of what the opponents were trying to do. But it was as if they flicked the switch and then in one moment they came back, blew them out.
So for you, PSG are going to go
me, PSG are going to get goals.
Coach, for you, who's going to go through?
On paper, it looks like PSG. But look, Unai Emery will have to do something that I don't think he's ever done before. Okay? Mostly, his tactics in Europe tend to work when his team are not chasing the game. Mm-hmm. So he tend to invite the opponent onto him and then they go and counter. We saw him at Villarreal, we saw him at Seville and those things. Predominantly, that was how he was winning his game. This is the situation where now they have a 2-goal deficit that they need to cancel to restore parity. Now, the quality before them is immense. How do you find a balance between cancelling those 2 goals and making sure that defensively this guy don't score? So psychologically, he needs to prepare the team in such a way that go out there and enjoy yourself. Give it your best. If you go out, you go out.
Yeah.
This is what I would have been telling my players. Make sure you don't step off the pitch.
Yeah, leave everything off the pitch.
And have the notion that
you could have
done this.
Yeah.
That is where I tend to agree with Danny a little bit. They don't have anything to lose. Like we all said, when the draw was made, we all saw that over 2 legs, PSG will qualify. One thing that truly disappointed me was the time they conceded a 3rd goal yesterday.
Yeah.
It truly disappointed me.
Is that goal not, coach? Is that goal not credit to PSG? Because at 2-1 at the time, why would Nuno Mendes, the left back, be that high up the pitch in that space? Because it's like there's no point.
No, because
they had created at that time an away game, Champions League quarterfinals. You are 2-1 down. you want to take at least one goal deficit home.
Yeah.
You try to disrupt the flow of the game. You try to disrupt.
Because Dembele drops to
How
the
do you
picks
do
the
that?
ball.
No,
No,
that's
it
not-
makes the
but
running.
before that, the game had gone on continuous for like 4 or 5 minutes unstopped. You don't do that. And this is one of the things I learned from Jose when he was in his heyday.
Sensation.
There were times where you just break the flow. How could they have done that? Maybe get the ball into throw. A player sits down on the pitch. I have a cramp. It's just to break. Just find a way of breaking it. That was what they didn't do. And I thought with the experience of Unai Emery, that is something he should have told them. It's all part of the coaching. Quick. It's all part of the tactical coaching. They didn't do that. Because I felt that they had done so well. 2-1, 97th, eh?
Eventually the last kick of the game.
97th.
Eventually the last kick of the game.
But prior to that, there should have been some stoppages.
Yeah,
from
we
that
didn't
end.
do.
Players should have, because there were times where they touched the ball. They shouldn't have attempted to play. 1-2, let's go to throw. You go down. I have a cramp. Bring them. They come and look. Everybody will take some deep breath in and out. And then you start all over again. Those things, they work in favor of the team.
It distracts the flow.
It distracts the flow.
It resets the game.
So
Gets you to
here is the
reorganize.
case where in the second leg, those things they cannot do.
Yeah.
But they are now chasing the game. They need the time. And with the quality that PSG has got, the form of Dembele, and the fact that the midfielders of PSG are all ball playing, you can be physical on them. But to what extent? You go too physical, you are booked. You cannot get closer to them again. They are in their comfort zone. They are dominated. I expect PSG to face Arsenal in the second.
I mean, I personally think PSG are too good for Aston Villa at the Villa Park. PSG are playing one fascinating hall of brilliant football. Like, they keep the ball so well. Yet they are not boring.
I still don't trust it. There's that part of me that keeps.
No, I think they're just. I think that's
something along.
I think they're too good. I think they'll be too good for Aston
Villa. Yes,
I think they'll be too good. I think they'll go through because and the thing I love about PSG is we've seen so many boring teams.
So when they
this
qualify, against
Arsenal.
who play Arsenal, Real Madrid.
Yeah, who plays home first? It's against Arsenal. Forget about Real Madrid. I won Real Madrid.
All right, now let's talk about that game.
Real Madrid.
So on Tuesday, that is the game that was our featured game, our primary
Real
game.
Madrid supporter. He did sleep for them.
on what
Hey,
channel?
my friend, wake up!
He's dreaming about the comeback.
Charlie, but Tuesday now, why mobile? Tuesday now, why mobile? All the guys were celebrating around him. Charlie.
So let's go to that game then. This was on Tuesday. And that was very much our focus game, our key game going into the watch along. It was at the Emirates. It was Arsenal playing against Real Madrid. That game had plenty. The storylines are superb. In the end, it is Arsenal that won the game by 3 goals. So I'm sure by now you've seen everything about it. I'm not going to get into the heads of my guys here to get them to, tell us what they made of that fixture. How did Arsenal in the end finish up by beating Real Madrid by 3-0? So I'll start off with you, Achu. First half goalless. Arsenal get some promising openings. Second half, everything changes completely. Declan Rice does something nobody thinks Rice can do. And in the end, Arsenal going to the Bernabeu with 3-0.
In this world, one of the things that is one of the most painful ways of taking a defeat is when you are beaten by your own tricks. Like, you can tell that this is not anything special. Like, man, what you are witnessing is nothing out of the ordinary. That is how that performance and the results would have felt if you were a Real Madrid fan. Because over the years, this is exactly what Real Madrid have done to teams. They are not superior. There's not a single Champions League season that I remember in the last 10 years where Real Madrid have won it by being superior. And specifically, even in the notable victories that they've secured.
Oh, not the Zizou three-peats. Oh, those ones.
Those
ones they were superior.
They cleared opponents, but say you see
They only had the Wolfsburg comeback. But every other body, they beat Bayern convincingly. They beat Roma convincingly. Atletico convincingly. Oh, what's for the triple they give it to them? They don't do hair Ronaldo and things.
quick,
Don't want to give to
Indomie.
them. Come on.
Indomie.
A player.
No. You see, I'm
4-1.
saying that because in the same period that you are referring to,
Yeah.
we saw how Bayern won their Champions League in 2013. We saw how Barca did it in 2015. Right?
Yes.
That is the standard for dominance. A dominant winner.
But Madrid did the same.
They did it. They blew teams away by the scoreline. So if over the 2 legs that the Pep won.
But see, Madrid has never been a team that does the Barca
I don't care.
80% possession. Historically,
No, I don't care.
Bayern
I'm
and Barca
saying
thing. Madrid are not like that too.
I don't care. I'm saying that what we saw on Wednesday was a throwback to
It's
how
what Benzema and
Madrid-
did to Chelsea, Man City,
Man City,
PSG.
Bayern Munich last
Bayern Munich.
season. They
Out of nowhere.
they won't play nothing. Like nah, they
A
won't.
test of their own medicine.
But that buying game no be true, man.
In 15 minutes or in 10 minutes, they will batter you and beat you into submission. And here's the thing. When the first one drops, you can see it coming. You can feel the tide turning. You can feel that something has changed in the air. And that until they say they are taking their foot off the gas, there is nothing you are going to do in response that will work. And for that period, they will blow you away. And we saw it repeatedly. You mentioned the Wolfsburg game, the Atletico Madrid game, the Bayern Munich game, the 11-second goal that they scored on the counter break last season, 2 seasons ago, Man City, 4 seasons ago, Chelsea. That was it. On none of these games would you say that over the course of the 90 minutes, they were far away and by some distance, a team that should have won by the margins that they won by it. That is what Arsenal did in 17 second half minutes. Because, in the spur of the moment when you are excited as an Arsenal fan or if you wanted Arsenal to win, you are enjoying it. You are not analyzing how the goals have come about. You don't care. After watching the game again, Arsenal did not carve Madrid open incessantly. They didn't blow them away so there were moments. So there was a Partey ball that on the line, inadvertently, Saliba blocks it. The Alaba off the line clearance, the Jude Bellingham. Then there was even the Courtois saves. It was the first 2 in the first half that were impressive. The one in the double save in the second half, they were pretty straight at him. So by and large, it is the typical Champions League game for Real Madrid where, the opponents has had moments, they have had a few chances, and up until Arsenal scored, you felt that this was going the same way.
According to Madrid's script.
Yes, they aren't playing anything.
They are waiting for one Sunsu moment.
And then, so for me, I was excited that somebody did that to Real Madrid.
Right.
Without having to dominate them. But I was not surprised by how poor Madrid were. Because, and I kept telling people that, look, the Real Madrid, I said this during the watch.
Yeah.
The Real Madrid we are watching this season, it's not the same as the Real Madrid we saw last season, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago.
What has changed?
They lack balance. They are unable to deal with set pieces. And they concede chances at a rate that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There are games where they don't concede too many clear-cut chances. But you see the about 3 moments where Saka gets past Alaba and then he faces
one across the face of goal.
And they concede chances, scenarios like that. It's
Against a high-quality team, you'll be punished.
It's not a clear-cut chance, but it's a moment where the defense has been breached. Under normal circumstance, Madrid does not afford you that.
Yeah.
So that has been the story of Madrid for about 5 weeks now. And I point one thing to people. Before City played Madrid, Ancelotti said, forget about everything else that has happened. This is where our season starts. In that speech, Ancelotti was admitting, I know that we have not been good enough, but from here on, we are going to compensate for that. But since then, we have seen that performance against Leganes. We've seen that performance against Real Sociedad over the 2 legs. We've seen that performance against last weekend, Valencia.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, Madrid are playing games where they've been very poor. Yes, they will create chances because if you have the quality Madrid have got, especially in the final third, it is impossible to keep them at bay for 90 minutes without them creating any chance. And that perhaps was the only surprise about Tuesday. That Madrid had nothing at all in terms of an attack. That there was no chance that you could say they fashioned out. The two times that they came close, Arsenal make mistake, Madrid on the counter, and then they miss it. So that perhaps, but all of the issues about how they've looked subpar against all of those teams, they were glaring. And I kept telling people that, look, you are not going to suddenly wish away that poor form. What is, because, and when people talk about muscle memory, it is not only what you've done repeatedly, but also what you've done recently, more consistently. In recent times, Madrid have more bad performances to draw from than ones that will inspire them. And the reason I think Arsenal have got this wrapped up is that, look, in the seasons that Madrid have done this remontada, look, they were very good. They were very good. And that was why there was every belief that if Madrid can find their rhythm, they will do it. It wasn't just a matter of they've done it before.
But is that not the case? The case about some of the comebacks they've done, especially, of course, they were good, but they did it against City, a team that on the day where even perhaps many would say were better.
Yeah.
But they still managed to do it against them. On that day against Chelsea at the Bernabeu, Chelsea were better, but they still managed.
It was the first half they were no good.
It was the first half Real Madrid were no good. Second half Madrid turned the corner.
In fact, the first leg, this didn't happen to them.
Yes, the first leg Madrid won, and the second leg Chelsea came back strong and got a couple of goals and they were. But it's not the case for Madrid that when they look like they're under the cosh, when it looks like the opponent is getting.
Those are two different things,
right?
In the build up to the Wolfsburg game, that performance.
What's Wolfsburg? I won't add this because that one they had Ronaldo down there. They had Ronaldo, so that one some way. But the Chelsea pitch
in the build up, you didn't have this many. In the last 3 matches, they've shipped in 8 goals. Against which teams?
By the way, I want to preserve Ronaldo's legacy. So if Madrid doesn't win this year, I don't care because you cannot win the Champions League back-to-back without Ronaldo.
You see, against which teams? Like Ghana, check Valencia's position on the league standings.
But okay,
Sociedad.
Let me take you to
Sociedad and Manchester United is beating. You are losing to. You are struggling against Sociedad.
Let me take you to the second leg and get your quick prediction and bring the guys in.
But me, I've given my prediction
that
Arsenal will go through.
Okay, let me bring it.
If you're not careful,
we
will be sitting here and Arsenal with all their panic and all their mistakes will go and score that 51st minute goal and that is game over.
1-0. All right, let me come to you, Danny. Coach, you have the last word.
That's
this
right.
one. So Danny, I come to you. You have been a big Mikel Arteta and Arsenal fan. In fact, I know the game spoke about how dangerous Arsenal can be with set pieces. It wasn't the corner, but it was still a set piece. And in the end, that proved, the difference.
But they scored from a set piece.
That's what I'm saying.
Except that Saliba decided that this one.
Right.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
But ultimately, Mikel Arteta's boys, some way, somehow, they managed to do the unthinkable. It's about one of the best nights I've seen Arsenal have at the Emirates. Danny, how did they do this?
What's
the context?
You both figure see. You both figure see. What's that? Arteta.
No, but you last week they dissed the guy.
But you know, some media with this. So if the fool, I will fit the tell
it's an abusive relationship with Arteta.
Oh no. Premier League and Champions League are two different things. So if the fool, I will tell him. He me my guy. Arteta, but coach, me Arteta since
way back.
We don't go way back. So Arteta's
your guy.
It's insane.
How did they do it then?
Look, credit to Arsenal. Me,
why you
tactically,
your man get broken out too. You don't want to listen. You don't want what you said.
You know the funny thing. When a guy for here, he they feel as you talk at Arteta, they say, "Oh yes." Wait, he did die.
Why you be Arsenal fan? For now. That's why you root like that.
So I think
The guy lose appetite. He don't chop like 2 days.
The tears of your brother is sweet.
Always, I will come. We go to cook. And one more. I can't talk small. Today I can't wear that
appetite, bro.
I don't. How?
Hey,
Charlie.
no, but look, credit to Arsenal. You ran away too. Look, credit to Arsenal. Eh? The thing I was afraid of.
If you go kiss somebody, this thing will not talk this way. You start to cough again. You then bring the thing come again. Viewers, you see, this is what the man did last week and I was talking about. You see, Atu, he just the saliva of the lady, he's still choking his throat. You see, Atu, come. You see, I told you last week that the inner man was involved in something that has affected his throat. You
Hey, the guy coughed like 3 weeks
He
ago.
coughed like 3 weeks. If you are kissing, you have to kiss. Kiss lightly.
Why? In the kiss. He chopped the girl in mouth.
He chop, you go swallow the girl in saliva, everything. Say, don't be your wife. Give your wife the understandable. Look the way you suffer. Hey, come back here.
Don't worry at you.
My head is feeling
No, I talk. If you see that it's clear. It's clear. You see, that's what I was thinking. It's gone.
Watch at you go chop with the coffee like that.
Charlie, my head is everything. No, but
Composure.
see, tactically, see,
He come back. He come back.
Coach Paul, you for you.
he's
See what?
He said you go kiss somebody, some dirty saliva.
Don't do this thing. You are already suffering. The evidence is clear.
No, clearly I'm not well.
But you cough like 3 weeks. It's a concern.
Yeah.
So it
What
make,
you
you,
go
you don't say that they defend you, say what they talk about nonsense. What
I
you
know.
do? But so if they cough 3 weeks, I'm like,
Because
no,
we
like,
have some chronological events where it take place. Where Abano.
Wait, I was unwell.
No.
The,
The day the Premier League Cup come, where we go there.
when you there somebody.
Now wait, you see, I told you don't rate that. US, now look at it now.
but when
I have
are
a
the tapping body
witness.
process finish?
No, I have a witness
Which witness?
to what I'm about to say.
Which?
You see the Premier League event he was talking about, the day we went to shake the Premier
The
League.
day we seen by the girl that you had put your hand across.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a mentee.
Charlie.
Wait. The mentino. If you which one? You the teacher or you the teach you?
Me at the mentor.
So you the mentor.
Yeah, but the
So
mentor.
mentino, you be the
Okay,
mentor.
so you the mentor, you the mentor.
Wait. So before the event, then you know I'm more, but the event's
I
going
know
on.
her before.
You the
You know before
mentor.
the event.
I used to work with her at Asasi.
Where you the mentor?
Where as we come. No, so the time
Charlie,
Look the way they struggle.
The time we-
Make you do the show and go.
see, you don't implicate your body. This thing for stop. Bring the face.
she has always liked our sports shows.
Oh.
So even while I was at Asasi.
So by now she's watching you.
Oh, the time I did there, friends come. I make she go see the girl because she says she meets all of my friends.
Okay.
Because she dey listen with you.
You watch.
So the day we went for the Premier League event,
Okay.
where I say, today all of the other guys, they here. So it's herself and her brother who follow every show we do. So she did FaceTime with you, Christopher Nimley.
Yeah, I mean that she was happy to see me. I was happy to see her. That was
Not
it.
that, no.
That was it.
That was not it.
That was it. That was it.
No.
That was what-
Nimley,
that was it.
Nimley, she did FaceTime so that her brother, the boy was crying when you saw Christopher
Yeah,
Nimley.
and I saw that.
So why are you leaving
But
out
that was
part?
it. That was it.
Relax.
The boy was crying.
Wait, the boy
on
cries.
the FaceTime. Yes.
Yeah.
Salam.
Hey, I don't want to show it out.
See that?
See, Christ and see coach.
That was-
Wait for the killer part of the story. So, as according to her sister, the day Nathan resigned from City, say they go sporty, the boy cried.
Celebs. I don't know. That means hard.
Then me say me obi ni me sound because you say the girls are
You don't
I don't reach.
You put ask you for shout outs and things.
No, he asked of your name.
So you don't know me safe.
No. Wait. She say they see you everywhere. But I say,
It means I no
there are
reach.
only 2 places she go see. Where you say but you don't go to GT. We don't go to Joy Prime. I said yes. Okay, but that's 2 places where she say it doesn't matter to them so long as they see you. on multiple channels.
But they don't know my name.
She didn't
I know
know
Rich.
No, you be that girl, so that one.
But you know coaching name. You
somebody
know
they cry, but I don't know.
Somebody if you cry over.
Nobody mention.
No, the job. Some people they from pass on people.
Nobody.
Coaching.
What are they talking? Is it
The boy cry.
The boy cry.
That's what the boy they cry.
Is it
Like
like
them
he
and they like
corroborates the
I will
story?
embrace himself.
Is this how you corroborate the story?
No, but that was it.
So it was
It be small boy. It be.
Oh, not be kiddies like that.
mid-20s. So
Why you cry?
Somebody get girlfriend. You know say you go be faint like Michael Jackson they can do show for the
You go be
faint.
faint.
If someone gets like if you see you on phone where they cry, if you see you in person, you go collapse.
we go faint.
We are not rich like that.
No, you reach
Cry.
continue.
And then.
So
This I don't be an ask go backing vocalist. Camera guys they ask. They are more interested in the story.
And they say,
than
okay,
the song.
Master talk.
but for the first time I did lose, like he to go join.
Otherwise, I'm on
In the press info.
So that's the girl. She's a mentee, former colleague, met again at the event. And she said, all of her friends who she hasn't met before, she has to see that. I said, okay, they are here. So I introduced Chris, then Nathan. But Nathan, he be shy boy. So the boy, but still,
Why me you flame your what you introduce me?
she they shy. But she said the other ones no. If, because she was posting the stuff, and she said, if her brother sees that these people were there and she didn't FaceTime with them for him to see them and meet them on the phone, he won't forgive her. I said, no, I'll call them. So I call him. He said, I'll call you.
You don't call me, I beg you. I beg you,
No. I'll call
I
you.
beg you, don't call me.
Is it the team?
I beg you. The last time I talked to you,
As at that place,
the time we
now
did the
they
outside.
talk. You know the
At the
cost.
shock. We did the outside where me the you talk. We can't sit down, no
That
see
place
me
already
again.
they talk. You know the cost.
It's my story.
I'd make you continue.
Yes.
I know the background to the story.
So she introduced them. Then midway through the events, she had to go home. Because not at the SI. I called.
We go through them.
No, I did. Oh, but me, I left with you guys.
Hey, please, I don't left plus you. I beg you.
Everybody
left
gets
us
in
me.
car.
I'm just saying we finished before.
You go ask
around
plus
the
am.
same time.
You go house.
No.
You go ask plus
But
am.
how I go your house?
I don't go ask plus
But
am.
how I go your house? I'm just saying we all left at the same time, which was after the event.
So continue.
So the allegation is that I went home with the girl.
No, you
Which
see,
is not true.
That is not the
The
allegation.
girl left.
That is not the allegation.
That's not the
allegation is that.
allegation.
Not even the allegation. The fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that
We all know the thing.
on the day, you see when we're there, the girl say if she go watch the Blasters game, you carry. When you talk, say you go carry am go.
No.
Oh.
I see the matter. You carry. Oh, when you were talking, I kept quiet.
Lindsay was not sitting with us all.
You just tell my back. I tell you, give my
Nah,
back.
simple question.
You tell my back. You not just go watch
I
the
am
game.
disputing what he's saying. I'm telling you that he's making it up because
Oh,
he wasn't close to us.
No, the guy talk say she go if she get her,
She go live go watch
the Black
It be true or not be
game.
true?
It not be true.
The girl no talk to.
But the girls come watch the game.
She talks so yes or no.
It be true or not be true. Today you are denying she didn't watch the game.
I'm not denying.
It be true or not be true.
She didn't watch the game. She didn't come. If she
So
came, I was not.
why didn't you join Sito or Decay
Thank you.
on the day of the Black Stars game? That's where the problem is.
Do you know why?
There's no problem.
You know why?
That's where the problem is.
He think say the girl go come. The girl no come. When the girl tell us, oh, she dey here.
Make you go meet
Then
them for
he
there.
tell me say you go come plus me. Oh. You don't tell the time I call you.
But me, he told me say it will come plus me. I told him say I go bring my ride for moving pic.
So make you
Then
go.
make you go.
I
The guy
tell
say
him,
if I go off the beat some
thank you.
some funny stories.
Thank you. He tell me say you come plus me. What tell I say no?
they are lost
You
story.
dey stadium.
Yeah.
So make you call you then tell you say you come. So
When I
people
tell him
come
say,
straight.
me go-
So
make
let
me
me-
then
so
go
let
come.
me-
When he call me back, tell me say, oh,
Let
you
me
go
tell
come
my
plus
story.
you. Where I say okay,
Wait.
I can't reach here no. When coach and friend tell me say, I just say no go come again.
Where
Wait.
the day before, when we were planning that show, I was a bit concerned about
the time.
He said, make we
Make we
come.
Make we come.
If
We
close
go
1
finish
AM,
riding
we
no. You know the guy
Yeah.
that picture.
Where you not make your mind come the show that day. The following day, no, he start the call.
The following morning, if we get a Saturday morning show, Wamba. That one too.
The following day, no, I call Atu. Coach, Atu, what did you just do? Atu, come and do the show. You will come. You go to Kiss and
No, don't have a chance with this.
No.
Wait, continue.
Continue the program. No, finish.
No, we are not.
Wait, Osofo is trying to lie.
Why?
Osofo is trying
We are talking about Arteta.
on the day. We plan to
Referee said there.
No, David.
Wait.
You after that. No, process your thoughts. Put it together.
Extra time. No.
Process your thoughts. No. Process your thoughts. Put it together.
So
if you're lucky, I'll let you come back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Because I'm running out of time.
Oh, Charlie, we are discussing Madrid.
No.
Mr. Chairman,
I said
it'll be quick.
He said
For
no.
4 minutes.
He said no.
For 4 minutes.
No,
Daddy,
So
continue.
Arteta.
to go together.
Don't do that.
So,
you can continue.
I left my bag for
I
office.
said don't do that.
I didn't
Continue.
believe.
I'll give you time.
Thank you, my brother.
I'll give you time.
Mr. Chairman.
Now I'm seeing my enemies. No problem. I'm seeing my enemies.
Arteta.
The viewers have observed how I have been.
Come on, now behavior is.
If you want to come and host, then let me come and sit here. Otherwise, Daddy continue.
He didn't do it, he make it the cough safe. Charlie. No, but on the more serious, you see, tactically, I was saying that I believed that Arsenal had what it took to match Madrid.
Yeah.
In fact, the Madrid team is imbalanced. Ceballos getting injured has really affected them.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for the lineup to know exactly. I knew how Arsenal.
He didn't go cough again. He didn't cough. Yeah, too far here.
But you know what you funny. Somebody wanted to say, we the like day at Junto. I say, the guy they set him body up. He always a dream. Nobody.
Charlie, so when the lineup came?
Look, I was just waiting for the lineup because I knew how Arsenal shape up. But I wanted to see what Madrid would do. And what I wanted to see was who will constitute the Real Madrid midfield.
Right.
I wanted to see if Valverde will play midfield or play a right back. Once I saw the lineup and I saw Modric was in there, and I saw the two others, in fact, the app I was using gave the shape, the 4-4-2 shape. And I was like, wait, it actually looks like something. It's this 4-4-2, especially in Real Madrid's defensive shape, is something that they do often. So it looked like something very viable. And I said, Arsenal would win. Now, why did I believe so? Partey and Rice, it's because they are wearing the Arsenal jersey. Partey and Rice, the combination. Look, then they play ball. Technically, they are super as a team. Physically,
they're dominating.
They are dominating. So it is very difficult. You see, you need like a supreme level of technical quality to be able to outplay them. And it's not just in outplaying them. I felt Arsenal would win this game if they were able to control the game. Control, not in terms of possession, but decide how the game should be played.
Exactly.
Dictate the flow.
The flow, the tempo. And once I saw Partey, I saw Rice, and I saw who they had to play against. I didn't think Real Madrid had an answer. But again, I don't think Arsenal completely dominated Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. I think the way Arsenal started the game was what I expected the game to be. Where on paper and in terms of their shape, they should be playing better. But they started in a very jittery manner.
Yeah.
But that's where I'll credit the Arsenal. Look, we come at them with this thing. They don't have character. They don't have mentality. But at the end of the first time, in fact, that corner, when they had that corner opportunity, Partey, Saliba clearing off the line, they started slowly growing into the game. And then, you see, I was doing commentary. What I was waiting for was for Saka to pick the ball up and go at Alaba at least once. And we saw it at the tail end of the first half. Yeah. He took the ball, went at him, beat him, crossed it. Nobody was there. He did it again. Nobody was there. But you see, situations like that, sometimes a team needs that momentum. You just need to believe that, so somebody will be sitting there, some Arsenal fans, let's say Odegaard is there, he's afraid. And he sees that, Charlie, Saka is actually doing the guy.
In Ghana, we're going to make Bayame.
Quick.
Bayame.
Bayern.
There's way. Where there? Pass there.
Thank you. It starts giving you that belief. And that's how the first half ended. Yes, Real Madrid got their opportunities. And Mbappe's reactions and things, no, then my heart they caught small. But once he didn't enter,
They started to sue the guards on teams.
thank you.
Charlie.
Once the ball no enter, I was cool. Second half started basically the way the first half started. In fact, the second half, Arsenal's back for Charlie Kivi or no, you forgo apologize because you the talk say the guy will be weak link. You are snitching.
He be just self-confident.
Yeah, he talk say he will be weak link.
I don't talk that. What I talk for?
Oh, it be private conversation. I don't get
It be
it.
true, be true.
It be
We
true.
talk for back doors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he talk for back door. Say he go feel be weak link, but he force. Me say,
Because he ball.
me say, I don't believe him, but he ball.
I shot for him small.
He say he force.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he forced especially because of what Lewis Kelly was doing.
Yep.
That cover. And the space he had to cover against that
Rodrigo side there.
the guy scored it. But you see, I just said it, this game is our moment. So Champions League. Champions League is not about who played well over 90 minutes. PSG played Liverpool won the first leg. You understand? It's about moments. When your time comes, it's two things. Recognizing and feeling it that this is our time and taking advantage of it. That's where the big boys separate themselves from the rest. And most of us didn't think Arsenal had it.
Yeah.
When that first free kick went in,
What a free kick, by the way.
around the wall, the
Roberto Carlo.
this one, no, our set piece coach, he get away, say, hey,
Cross.
say, make Odegaard left there.
And it chalk on a
Chop more.
chalk my ball.
We give the team. Bah!
Actually, but
The set because they work
for
fast.
Rice's explanation, we would all have assumed that it was the coach who gave him the idea to
Yeah.
score it directly.
Because Rice, according to Rice, the coach said he should cross
He
it.
should cross the ball.
But he
Saka
saw the way
said-
and was like, nah. let me go for it.
Odegaard say he should cross the thing.
No, he said the instruction was from the coach.
Was from the coach.
Where Odegaard say make it cross. Where is it that thing no
listen,
dey make sense? I tell you, where they he say make we cross the ball.
Tukru down.
Quick. Where he fire the thing, where
Fire
he
past
enter.
Tukru inside.
But you see, what I loved about, we were all happy. Arsenal have scored. Yes. But Madrid, no. They can react like this. But that's when the supreme... Hey, Thomas Partey. See,
What did you do?
let me tell you what he did.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to tell me that.
Yeah. See, you are most vulnerable when you've just scored a goal.
Right.
When Arsenal scored, they could feel the momentum. But Real Madrid were ready to pounce.
Yes.
What Partey did was diffuse, but still maintain.
Diffuse then deflate.
Then deflate,
Now good.
but still maintain.
Controller no.
You see,
Oh Charlie. Over war.
look,
Petty.
if you noticed,
TP.
as soon as, and go and watch like that 17-minute spell, Real Madrid passed and they were coming. But Arsenal win the ball back. There was this sequence where on the right-hand side, Timber won the ball. There was space for him to play in Saka. He went sideways to the boss. Partey picked it up. Poof. Pass. Back to me. Sideways. Pass. And see, what it does is Real Madrid wants the game to be chaotic.
Yeah, chaotic.
But Arsenal are refusing.
Not Arsenal. Partey. Now go there. Partey was refusing.
Yes. Partey said no.
But if Partey passes the ball to somebody and the person doesn't also...
No, give it
But
back.
he tells them.
No, but the point is, if Partey passes the ball to...
Sicho.
Listen here.
Give it to your boss.
Simple.
Kahashi.
Quick.
Beshi.
Thank you.
Nunga. Pasamoshi. Aniba.
Thank you.
Anibulabo.
Quick.
Natri. Meji Partey.
Thank you.
You understand the guy? You understand that guy?
Pass.
No,
What's
not
a gap?
pass. No pass.
Come on, me.
Give it to me.
Thank you.
I'm your boss.
Take it.
Go wide.
Quick.
Take. Don't go forward. I'm avail myself. Come back. The rest of you respect yourself. Everybody calm down. Partey. Calm down. Everybody cool. That's the controller.
So it's not Arsenal, it's Partey.
No, it's Partey.
Okay.
Can't you see Martinelli? He just wants to be running by heart. Not treat us. Don't run. Come back. Your boss is talking. I'm in charge. I'm in charge. Partey is in charge.
Partey was saying, this is my house.
This is my house. I'm in charge.
No, but you see, and that's what we're talking about with what Madrid were missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That control.
That is cruise.
Because what you are doing is you still have the momentum, but you are you are refusing to allow the opposition back.
Yes.
Real Madrid like it when it gets chaotic. And most teams
Would have
usually
preferred
fall into that trap. Real Madrid will come and you see the space to counter and they'll hurriedly go. That's exactly what Madrid want you to do. But Partey calmed it down. So if you watch the third goal, Merino, it wasn't transitional.
No.
Arsenal
was a
passed
build-up.
them into
That was a
submission.
build-up.
Yes.
Lewis Kelly got into very decent positions.
But
Declan
whilst
Rice.
the build-up was happening, you could feel
It was building up to
it was
it was coming.
It was momentum.
And Merino in fact was part of the start of it. Dropped very deep, combined with Partey, then it will arrive.
Look, it's not just ability. Partey, he downloaded the experience that he's had over the years.
And shared it.
And shared, he used to take some.
Saka,
Odegaard, take
you are
some.
balling, but take some.
Odegaard no was some, but we won't say it. Odegaard,
He has an off night.
big disappointment.
He has an off night.
And look, I'll say it here. I like him. But when you're a player like that, when you are that important to
the
a team,
moment you should
you
live
can't
for.
afford to
Not
have
to
a bad
switch
night.
off.
No, but that is what a good team needs. That a big player can have an off day, but he has good enough players around him.
He's so important.
Let me
player in the
let me
team.
explain to you. You see, what Odegaard is to Arsenal, he's not the receiver of or he's not. He doesn't bend. Thank you.
Mohamed Polo will say have the orchestra.
He's the orchestrator. He's part of what will produce the goal.
Of this.
You can't afford to in a game like this. Look, I'm telling you, if Odegaard had played his game,
Arsenal would have won like 4 or 5.
and we are lucky. Look at Saka. Saka knows what the team expected of him. That boy, you say if they say you go get this one or this one. If Saka come Madrid, Rodrigo will tap me. I tell you. See, Sakitus, Partey, Rice. That third goal, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then what Arsenal did after 3-0, they tried pushing for the fourth in like 2 minutes.
I'm far.
And
the boss start taking charge. Partey start taking charge.
And yeah, credit to Arteta because he made some very impressive substitutions there.
Yeah.
Just to bring body to Carrington, he came on.
You see, the introduction of Trossard, a player who will not depend so much on his pace. Calm down, technique.
Combines well.
Now go there.
Look, it was. Look, Charlie, this one I blast but Arteta coach that the moments. No.
Yeah. He identified those precious moments and coached.
I think Wenger was on the phone. Wenger was on the phone because the level of the coaching, I don't read the commentary, I fear. I was like, see, especially look, go back and watch the game when Merino scored a goal. The replay from the back. After they showed the goal from the behind the pool, the camera zoomed in and it went on Mbappe's face.
Yeah.
And Mbappe did well. It's like, this will be something we don't see before. You understand? Then when my heart started course. No, because you know them. And when Arsenal tried 1-2, fourth goal didn't come. That's like experience. That's what the likes of Bayern Munich in their heyday, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man U, heyday, Liverpool. That's what they do. And Arsenal diffused it. Look, we are on top. We have momentum, but it's not time to risk a fourth. 3-0 is enough.
Can't afford 3-1.
We can't afford 3-1. And they completely diffused the game. Because then all of a sudden, Madrid's attacks looked labored. They looked like they were forcing it.
And they were no longer playing as a team.
So individuals wanted to. And Arsenal will just pick it up and then and it's frustrating. You see, when you want to play and the opposition is not allowing you, it's very, very frustrating. So Arsenal, look, it was a solid job for Mikel Arteta. But Ancelotti too, no. 1 minute on Ancelotti. He disappointed me because when the game started, to be frank, first like 10-15 minutes, the shape was working. Arsenal were struggling. The defense couldn't get the ball into Partey because Mbappe and Vinicius were blocking the passing lanes and they were doing well. When Partey and Skelly moved to the left, they also moved to the left and it was difficult. And Arsenal were not using the space in the wide areas, which was a problem for me because it's there. And if you look at the personnel who were there, Kivior is technically gifted. He can pick the ball. He can pass. Saliba can come. Timber can pick the ball and drive. But they were not doing it. So you could tell that they were insistent on going down the middle. But Madrid were stopping them. And then all of a sudden, Mbappe and Vinicius Junior, which, to be frank, I'm not going at the players because it's instinct. They don't have that defensive instinct, so they need to be
constantly reminded
and coached throughout. Look, it got so bad. There was this instance in the first half. Mbappe and Vinicius are here. Skelly and Partey are on this side. Partey literally walked and picked the ball from Saliba, and slowly, it's like walking pace, and gets to the middle. And Mbappe and Vinicius are just there. Like they think they are looking. I don't know what they were doing, but they were looking behind.
They're waiting for somebody to come and tackle for them.
Like, and Ancelotti was just looking on. And for the rest of the game,
that was
the space that Partey and Skelly at times Declan Rice will drop deep, pick it up. Odegaard was even dropping deep.
Came to the back line to come and pick balls.
To come and pick ball and go. And there was no reaction to it. It was a serious problem. If they repeat it, it could be an issue. But maybe you go around and we'll talk about the second leg. I'm happy, but it is some way.
Coach, how did you see that first leg?
You see,
you has said a lot about it, Danny K as well.
We did the game like
the watch along.
And I said something. I don't know if you remember. I said that if Arsenal, the only way Arsenal could beat Real Madrid individually and as a team, they needed to believe.
Yeah.
And I think that was what it came down to. Because what is it? You are distracting me, Kanti.
No.
Okay. So they needed to believe. Now, if they had no belief, a player who hadn't scored a free kick before in his life will not even have the audacity and the belief, the conviction that he would try scoring two worthies. You put that aside. Arteta himself, for the very first time in a long while, everybody watched him. He was very, very calm. I've always had issues with him. That anytime he's that chaotic on the touchline, it gets to the team and they are not doing anything constructive. For the very first time, you saw him very calm and he was coaching his team through the moment. That can only come with you believing that, look, if I can calm myself down and coach this thing, we can beat these guys. Truth be told, nobody saw those two first goals coming.
Yeah.
Especially the first one.
How good were those free kicks, coach?
Declan Rice will never score any better free kick like that again.
The second one, no.
Those two on Sheffield dark up him time or Bobo.
They were just perfect, like drawings, arts.
If you like, let's take him there today. Ask him to repeat it. He can't repeat it. He's not a David Beckham.
He's not. That's the crazy aspect of it, because typically for stages like this and for any match at all, it's someone who
is used to doing it. So
that
it is the belief.
No, but low key, you don't see me, I'm not sure. You know why I'm not sure?
No.
The guy get a technique.
He get a technique.
I've been wondering for a long time why he's not been taking more free kicks.
Yeah, no, there's one thing the technique, but
Hurricane. I don't understand why they don't take it.
Those corner kicks
takes and scores at times.
At times, but he doesn't take enough because I think technique-wise, he can bury it.
Do you think Bruno Fernandes has technique for free kicks?
His free kick technique, I like it.
Yeah, but he doesn't score. So he has the clearance has a good web about him. But when you have to bend it around the wall, gets up and over the wall and pick
that's
a corner,
what the difficulty is.
And you have to beat the goalkeeper
and also, truth be told, in the modern game now, we are not seeing a lot of free kick goals. We are just not seeing. One player that I really want to one player that I really want to talk about. I would have spoken about Thomas Partey. I've done a little bit when Danny was talking.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Saliba.
Right.
Look, I think he was immense. Without his usual partner in crime,
Gabriel.
You give him somebody who he's not used to playing together with. But look at what Kivior did. There were moments in that team I saw Saliba's organization to be top notch.
Yeah.
No wonder he starts for France now, isn't it?
Yeah.
As one of their main centre back.
Yeah. Took a while for Deschamps to trust him with that. And now it's like a main.
Look at Timber. Timber understanding of dealing with Vinicius.
One-on-one defending.
One-on-one.
That
See,
guy,
but that
he
game,
be different guy.
his whole plan was not to overlap. No,
Yeah.
but to wait for Vinicius to come.
No, he's one of the best one-on-one.
In one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And you could see that anytime Vinicius had him for there, the positioning of Saliba was such that if you do him back,
Yeah.
and Vinicius too, typical of him. When I'm person G word best, what's in it here? Come, kama wo. If you are singing kama wo. Actually, don't laugh.
Charlie, to be frank and pause here, see, if I be Madrid fan where I dey watch this thing, I go like slap my shit.
That makes me
Hey, go vex.
Kama wo.
What's that be like? The way they do you.
Kama wo.
Charlie, you know good.
When do kama wo. Saliba is waiting there, then you go no kama wo. Then kama wo. Look, but like DK said, the first leg is gone. I would just say a little on the second leg, and that's it. Arsenal will qualify.
Right.
I think defensively they are good. Real Madrid will have to come out and do something that maybe within their DNA they are capable of doing. But the style of the Arsenal team, the passing ability of Thomas Partey, the size of the Bernabeu, the speed of the Arsenal wingers, I think will kill the day. Because Real will come blazing. They need that early goal in the first 15 minutes to give themselves any belief. And that is why I think if they don't take care and Arsenal were to hold it, I think Arsenal have got what it takes to hold it in that first 15 minutes. Now, when Real start pushing, one pass from Thomas, just through them. We've seen them of late in the Spanish La Liga, where Rudiger is in Jamaica, his defender partner is in Switzerland, the other person is in Afghanistan. Big gap. Mungoshe. Look, Kanti, tell Ateta, Edwalla.
If you no qualify.
If you not qualify, then for second.
I mean, actually, who do you think is going to qualify? You've heard it said.
Yeah.
Oh, Arsenal to qualify. Are they?
Arsenal.
You are a bit skeptical.
Look, I'm afraid. Look, what coach has said is I will actually believe. And I told, like, Arsenal have what it takes. So there's no weakness tactically in their team against this Madrid team. But it's here.
It will come.
You see, the same way I don't think Arsenal completely outplayed Real Madrid. Like the match I watched, it's not a 3-0 game. To be frank.
It wasn't.
Look, own goals.
Charlie, somebody has won 3-0 at home.
Own
Why do you want
goals.
to scare the fans that they will go through?
Moga, own goals, VR, red cards,
Arsenal
handball penalties.
Penalty.
Like, things happen. And things happen at the Bernabeu.
Some one individual moment,
Something.
do some Sulia.
And you see, what I'm afraid of, it's not like it will happen. If the thing happen like 70th minute, 75th, I no go fear. Because I know say Arteta that one, he go feel double and he go bring Jorginho come, then Partey and Jorginho side, back. Then that one, the game will close. But if it happens within the first 15 minutes, it's done. I don't think Arsenal will have the
If what happens, if Real Madrid get the first goal or 2 goals?
What 2? 1. If Real Madrid scores 1 goal. In fact, as we tell Lawrence today, it's not even the 1 goal. See.
If I hit back, okay.
Make Vinicius do so.
You know the thing about Bernabeu? See, if Real Madrid gets
if you don't
an
trust
offside
Partey,
goal, it's a problem.
If you've never trusted Partey,
This is the game.
Next week Wednesday, you trust him.
See, you're not ready for the haram ball that Arteta is going to coach on Wednesday.
Actually, coach, whatever happens, Arsenal should make sure that the Real Madrid anthem isn't played within the 90 minutes.
Forget it.
Like, you know, said Madrid will score on goal safe. Then go play.
You see, you don't talk about Real Madrid. You see the video you talk.
If he's the players
the
here,
whole time. If they mention Real Madrid, then you get it.
If the players here, that anthem within 90 minutes, it'll be different. But look, I think it's a very tall order.
The tall order.
It's a
you see,
but at the Bernabeu,
we've seen them over 10 set scoreline before, but they were playing at least decently. Defensively, they were good. They had Tony Kroos.
They've never done 3-0.
I'm coming. Yeah, they've never done 3-0. Defensively,
Did you watch
against
against
City,
Wolfsburg was the score?
It's 2-0. No, you haven't done 3-0.
but then they
They've never done
had
3-0.
a certain Tony Kroos.
And they had Ronaldo.
They had even them. Forget about Ronaldo. In recent times,
Forget about
without
who?
Ronaldo.
Okay,
No, in recent they
time.
did without Ronaldo. They had Benzema. They had Luka Modric. Then
That's
not the Luka Modric.
You know,
now.
because we can't win the game the other time.
No, but who give him the pass?
Rudiger.
But Rudiger now, you see, they play the banish here.
Okay, so let me go over your predictions for what will be the semi-final. So for you, PSG are going through against Aston Villa,
Definitely.
which means, and you're saying Arsenal will go.
Yeah,
through
Arsenal, PSG semi-final.
And you're saying Inter Milan will go through.
Inter Barcelona
and
semi-final.
Barcelona. So you're going to see, for you, the semi-final pair up is going to be Inter Milan Barcelona.
That's it.
And then Arsenal will play
PSG.
against PSG. Actually,
No, push him. Let him go out to the final. Let's do
that.
that.
for the semis.
If you do that, I can do. Okay,
let's do
Okay,
that.
so now the semis. Okay, now let's start. Who are the two? The first semi-final games. Arsenal will play against PSG. Who wins in that game?
Arsenal will win.
Arsenal get to the final for you, and then there will be Barcelona playing against Inter Milan.
Barcelona will win.
So there's Arsenal and then Barcelona in the final.
Then simple. Barcelona
wins for you. All right, let's start off with you then. What Arsenal, Real Madrid, who goes through?
Arsenal.
Then when Arsenal go through PSG and then Aston Villa.
I want Aston Villa to win because I'm afraid of PSG. but PSG.
Then PSG, Arsenal, who goes to the final. Then there's Barcelona going through against Dortmund, yes. And then what about Inter Milan, Bayern Munich? Inter Barca, who goes through?
Inter will beat Barca.
Inter will beat Barca. So we've got an Arsenal. We've got an Arsenal and then Inter Milan final.
Arsenal
and who
wins.
Arteta wins the Champions League for Arsenal.
Pay that
He will
money.
die.
Atu?
Me.
Yeah.
PSG over Arsenal.
PSG over Arsenal.
Yes.
Okay.
Barca over Inter. PSG
so
Barca final.
Yes. And
PSG to win.
Boo. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm excused from this bracket.
Say your thing.
You see,
He's running away.
Say your
is it what Atu just said? Atu prediction is historical because that is normally what happens when the final is played at Bayern Munich Stadium. Anytime they've played the final there, a team that has never won the cup before
First time
wins it. So maybe PSG.
But me too, I talk Arsenal. Arsenal to Arsenal.
And they did not win.
And then me too, I go for you talk Aston Villa.
But with them,
Talk your own. What?
Aston Villa have been chopped some before.
Villa win Champions League.
Yeah, Villa wins.
Villa and PSG, who is winning?
Villa and PSG.
Yeah.
But I think PSG will win.
Arsenal, Madrid.
why are you doing your nose like that? With him that further.
You gave us an answer off air.
Arsenal.
You gave it.
Why you can't
Tell me what you told me
Off air.
Charlie.
What you said off air.
Why you can't talk?
Hey, Charlie.
No, why you can't
You know, say, I just don't know how to bet against Madrid. I've seen too much. I've seen way too much. But look, I think Arsenal will win this. Look, I think Real Madrid will win at the Bernabeu, but it won't be enough to get them to qualify. I don't think Arsenal will win at the Bernabeu. But we're talking about qualification. I think Arsenal will qualify. But Real Madrid will win at the Bernabeu.
Barca and Dortmund standing. Inter, Bayern.
Inter.
Barca, Inter.
Inter.
Real Madrid and Arsenal and PSG.
PSG.
So PSG, Inter.
Inter Milan will win the Champions League.
Okay, good. So I say Barcelona,
Yeah.
PSG,
Yeah.
Arsenal.
I think one.
Supporting team phone there, Sanja. Okay, now let's talk about the weekend games and do quick predictions on the games that are coming up, so that all of you can head over to the Betway app and then put in some bets. All right. So now let's do this. Guys, quick predictions on these games. Man City will play against Crystal Palace. City desperately need
Onana
to
make
win.
mistake.
Nobody touched the ball. Free kick. Nobody touched the ball. Onana go do so. The ball did a pull inside.
Nothing to get on. Guys,
I told you before the game.
okay.
Make I see.
No, before we go the midweek games, no Onana no yale. He said he has won trophies. How many trophies he win?
You win FA Cup. That'd be
You win 2 for United.
What on what?
What and what?
FA Cup.
I just won it.
FA Cup.
Wait, he say he win
I
trophies.
played one.
I mean, last season play.
He said he win trophies.
But the toss up, they don't win any trophy. So I don't know if they add them preseason tournament.
Community Shield, you know win.
But he won the league with Inter.
No, you talk about
He said
United. You say
trophies.
Man City don't win any
I've
trophy,
lifted
man.
trophies with The guy will be serious.
All right, guys, let's do the prediction quickly and then get the fans to bite on something. Must still play against Crystal Palace. City need to start getting some 3 points to at least get themselves
And they are playing at Etihad.
Yeah, Etihad, yeah.
Palace
So now, 5th place will be enough for
So they desperately need to get those points.
Palace win or draw.
Palace win or draw.
City wins.
City win. Coach,
Palace pick form.
City Palace
City Palace.
at Etihad.
City win.
All right, Aston Villa, Southampton. I think this game is good for Villa because Southampton are not great. Unai Emery can rest a lot of players and still get
You
a
should.
win.
Rashford should
And
start.
Something Slot should have done. You didn't do by Rashford should start here. So that's all right. So Villa win. We agree Villa win.
Villa win.
Yeah. Brighton will play against Leicester. Brighton for sure.
Oh, of course. Leicester, they are relegated.
Then there's Forest against Everton. Forest have got some injury problems. Elanga,
tough.
Wood, and
game tough.
Everton are really, really decent.
Both teams to score.
First are playing at home.
Yeah, Forest are
They'll win.
at the City grounds.
They'll
Okay.
win.
They'll win.
Yeah.
Then Arsenal will play against Brentford. Now that's a tricky one considering what Arteta has to do.
Arsenal, Brentford.
Yeah, Arsenal at home.
They
I
will
think
rest
maybe
play.
Chelsea didn't face Brentford.
No.
No, Chelsea
Arsenal at
played
home.
Chelsea are
Brentford.
playing Ipswich.
You didn't get what he's saying.
I'm saying it's going to be a tricky game considering what Arteta
He's
has to
saying
do
that-
with its squad.
He's saying that you think say it be Chelsea that they play Brentford.
No, they played
I
Brentford
was
last
saying,
week.
yeah.
Oh, Chelsea played Brentford last week.
Yeah.
They're goalless draw.
So this is a tricky one to
Arsenal
call.
win.
Like for any of you who want to place a bet, it's a very tricky one. I think Arsenal perhaps might have just given up on the Premier League a little
Charlie,
bit.
make Sterling them play that game.
So I think we can
Both teams to score.
both teams to score or over 1.5. We might see 2 goals in this game. Both
or
teams to score.
Mbuemo to score.
Or
Anytime
Mbeumo
go
to
score.
anytime. Yeah. I won't go straight out Arsenal win. It could very much end up in a draw. Or even Brentford standing them. Because a lot of the attention will be on that game at the Bernabeu. All right, Liverpool against West Ham. Mohamed Kudus is in action at... there's also rumors that Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah are likely to stay. Have 2-year contract extension. Another time we'll talk about how FSG have managed to keep those 2 important players. But
Liverpool to win, Kudus to assist one of West Ham's only goal.
Kudus will assist one names.
Oh, he
This
go
is
one
assist back
recently.
up.
Hey, one pay.
He go one
Let me
recently.
One pay.
You assist back up.
It doesn't matter. He'll get one.
So boys should go and use their money to bet on Kudus assisting.
Yes, but Liverpool win.
Bold call. Coach who's what? Charlie, watch your team Banza.
Yeah, go.
Liverpool West Ham.
Oh, Liverpool, there's so much league, you know. West Ham there.
Okay.
Their best is a draw.
Chelsea Ipswich.
Chelsea to win.
Chelsea at home. Wolves
Ipswich
play against what?
Yeah,
No, the boys,
them they love to
the
score.
boys play. Oh. They use Kopama them for them.
Everybody's playing for Chelsea.
so Liga also.
Me, I'll go both teams to score.
Ipswich win or draw.
You don't think Chelsea are going to
Liam
win?
Delap will score.
But Chelsea need to keep their Champions League.
When they
hopes
get
alive.
the lap. Oh.
But scoring Chelsea is not hard work.
Wolves will play against West Ham. Wolves against Spurs. Sorry.
That's a
to
good
win.
game. Wolves
Yeah,
win.
top
Yeah,
game.
Wolves win or draw.
Yeah. Who's when
Yeah,
they are playing?
because Spurs also desperately need that Europa League game, and so they will.
As we speak, they are trailing at home to Frankfurt.
They've equalized 1-1
They've equalized them.
Yeah.
That's good.
as we speak. Remember, we're recording on a Thursday night, so the Europa League games are happening. Anyway, Newcastle United then will be at home to Man United. It's a tricky.
Oh, Newcastle.
This is a tough
Newcastle
game for
to win.
United.
Newcastle straight win.
Yeah, and I feel sad for Amorim because he doesn't even have a second string side. Like whoever is his first strongest side now will still play. You know,
But it looks like he doesn't care what happens in the league.
yeah.
The focus is on there.
But in the league, no, there is nobody to play for anybody.
So even if he wants to rest
People will be in
he
you.
will still go.
Yeah, that's how bad the squad is. Then Bournemouth wrap up that weekend with Fulham. Fulham.
Fulham will win. Fulham's the big jumpers.
The Bournemouth Magicas.
Charlie, I want to tell you guys a story.
Let's finish La Liga.
Okay.
La Liga will pick on the 3 teams. Atletico Madrid will play against Valladolid. Atletico Madrid are home. It looks like they are bouncing back a little bit.
Bounce back to do and do what.
To finish strongly in third. Is that not Atletico Madrid?
Hey, but football is wicked. We will win, but some way.
But you see,
No, football is wicked. You see the time I said that the draw now has been very unfair.
Yeah.
We're facing Barca 2 legs, Real Madrid 2 legs in the space of.
That was what changed their whole season.
Oh, Charlie, is not fair.
Alaves will be at home to Real Madrid. At home to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are going away to Alaves.
Madrid will use
It's a
them.
tricky one.
Madrid will use them to dust off.
But Madrid will win.
They need to rest players as well.
Oh,
But
and
they will-
Hendrik the prolific.
They will.
Okay.
They will rest. players and
But the
still
entry
win.
goal against Osaka be sweet. It's even in pass.
The boy good. Oh. The boy good.
I think Madrid might have to think about loaning him out.
Hendrick,
in the same league.
Ada Gule was also.
Yeah, maybe go like some Villarreal or something.
Mbappe no get Hendrick for the Madrid.
Because you know they trust them. So they use them.
Let say no retro. Mbappe
No, that's the thing. Like, you end up not playing enough.
He wants to go to the World Cup with Brazil.
Yeah.
But you will still need
But
somebody.
in there, you go, even if you go.
I there be project
Pele.
player.
Pele, they will
Hendrick the prolific.
The guys who play against Barcelona. The guys are home.
They will just take like 4. They will take like 4.
And Barca won't. You see, it's difficult because for Real Madrid and Barcelona have got a very comfortable lead in the first leg. But for Real Madrid, they desperately need to keep the chase and also keep an eye on that all difficult encounter against. So yeah, tricky weekends coming all around. Let's take a look at what is happening in Italy, because Inter Milan are very still strong in the chase. They are 3 points better than Napoli.
Last week they disappointed, boys. That 2-2. The 2 late goals they considered for me were just Charlie.
Yeah. But luckily for them, Napoli couldn't make it count because Bologna also.
So that was painful because they would have stretched.
Yeah, they could have stretched.
The Bologna goal was a sweet goal. The flick underneath the crossbar was just brilliant to watch.
All right, so Juventus are at home to Lecce. Juve have got a new manager, drew against Roma in a very impressive game. I loved it. I enjoyed the game. But they play at home to Lecce.
New manager bounce, they win.
They win.
Juve will win. Inter are at home to Cagliari.
Oh, simple,
Straight away for Inter.
Yeah.
Napoli are at home to Empoli.
Napoli. Oh, now Napoli win.
Empoli will win. By all means, Empoli will win.
Empoli win.
By all means.
Quick.
I think 2 of the last 5 matches, Empoli have picked points of Napoli. I won't be surprised if they do it again.
Right. All right. Now the game of the round has got to be that Rome derby. It's Lazio are playing against AS Roma. That is the game. That is the game. And Lazio are in 6th place. They are just a point behind Juventus. And guess what? Roma are in 7th place. They are only 2 points behind Lazio.
Well,
so there's plenty on this game. It's everything.
I think Lazio win.
I think Lazio will win.
Yeah.
They will play the football and they will concede some foolish.
Roma did last week. They played well.
No, Roma against Juve was great.
They played really well.
Yeah.
But Charlie Derby doesn't follow new manager bounce. Doesn't follow those things.
I think Roma win or draw.
I would be so disappointed in Lazio if they don't win, because to go to the Bergamo and beat Atalanta, come home against Roma, but it's the occasion.
Not just
the occasion.
It is classic Lazio to follow up that Napoli performance with another Nya performance this weekend.
They are very capable.
Of doing that.
Okay, I can tell you that we are not going to see more than 3 goals in this game.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure.
Under 2.5.
I'm not sure. Under 2.5. That will be my risk. The risk I'll take. That'll be the risk I'll take. Anyway, let's see what is happening in Germany. And then as for PSG, they've won the title, so we won't worry about them. But let's go to Germany and see what is happening. Borussia. Okay, so Bayern Leverkusen are some 6 points behind Bayern Munich. So obviously Bayern Munich are in pole to win. But Bayern Munich are playing against Borussia Dortmund. And if you didn't see Fenty here today, he's going to see that game. It's in Germany. He's going to watch the Klassiker at the Allianz Arena. You're not supposed to be in Germany. What's the 10th? Yeah. I was supposed to have gone yesterday for a conference. Then something came up, so I didn't go. And I was looking at the ticket to get a ticket for the Klassiker. One ticket, if you want to, a big boy, if you want to say somewhere sweet. The least ticket that was selling for the Klassiker was 400 and something euros. 400 and something euros. Ooh. The tickets that were available.
For the Klassiker.
Yeah, for the Klassiker. 400 and something euros for the Klassiker. The ones that were available. So.
Wait, what was the cheapest ticket for the Klassiker?
So I couldn't get a chance to see the ticket because the ones that were available were the ones that I could see in price. But there were many seats that were already sold out. I think the season fans have already taken them and some guests are already taken some too for commercial. But the ones that were available.
That's very unlike Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Because Bundesliga tickets are relatively the cheapest.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the fixture. I don't know.
Not just the fixture, but they are sold months in advance.
Yeah.
So when it delays like that, obviously the price will go up because then
it was like 400 and something. I'm like, wow, 400 and something euros is like over 2,000 cities.
No, but I'm sure
like 3-4.
Like the cheaper seats are sold out.
No,
That's why you are getting.
So I didn't even see a lot of seats available. There were only the other stands and all. But normally, if I'm going to do, I know we'll go sit the beer boys inside.
But that's where the vibe is.
Bro, Charlie.
You know, see Carragher.
The beer in Carragher, you be Carragher.
Now you fool.
Carragher, you be Carragher.
Or you be Guy Pass. That's where the vibe is.
No,
So yeah, it was.
You know, say you the job. You have the microphone. You go there, that you boost, you can't be touch people like.
It might be funny. It's all part of it.
But them more than them more boost.
At least all them all boost.
But they could control themselves. Carragher was too obvious. It was so obvious that he.
It be
completely off
TV
it.
moment.
You had a story to tell, Danny. To wrap it up.
Charlie, Tuesday afternoon,
Yeah.
my burger tell me say he watched the Monday show where he did believe the analysis, so make I work something for him.
Right.
I say okay. So I tap think, look numbers, crunch, well, fire Arsenal win and over 2.5.
Sharp.
I go Inter straight win over Bayern. I go Barcelona and over 3.5 against Dortmund.
Wait, hold on. Look at the sitter. Now, I'm sure some would have put their tickets on sale. But if you look at the cheapest tickets, over 100 and something.
Yeah.
I've seen the 500.
Yeah, 200,
500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when I was checking, I had the 500, some 400. But I think now some people have given out their tickets, so they have some available. But look at that, one available.
That's
high as
That's a lot.
cost, yeah.
As high as 600. Yes.
very, looks very
Yes.
close to that.
Yeah, that one is very, $543. This one is 240, like 200. The list here is
$200.
yeah,
On the right.
on the right, 200. Yeah, that's
Serious?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I say I go Barca and over 3.5. Arsenal straight win over 2.5. Arsenal and over 2.5. I went straight win for Inter. And I went PSG straight win. The odds were 23 point something. What I sent give my killer. And he said it is fear. So he reduced the Arsenal one to 1.5.
Yeah.
And reduced the Barca one to 2.5. I think it came down to like 18 odds. Where he fire. With something they tell me, say, make I do. Like,
Charlie, you don't go bet where you go fire it.
make I do. That thing, I send them the code, Betway code, I send the thing, give them. See, Wednesday, as you see, yesterday, the 2 matches or the end.
Yeah.
Killer sent me text message. He says, see, you are a genius.
Yeah, prophet, bro.
Sharp.
I did watch the fans, but nothing day. I no do. I no get him do.
You no do, but
Me, I no do, he do. When you yourself, he cut him down. He said, like, if you know, like, he go.
He keep him.
He keep him way.
Wait, you go do plenty.
Do plenty. I say, hey. Charlie, they paid me.
Charlie, you there for the drop.
I watch the codes. But we'll go again next week.
We'll go again next
week. I will
week.
cook again.
Yeah, we'll go again. Next week, Danny will post that code. I'll force him to post that code.
I'll post it.
We'll post that code so that you guys can make some money. Guys, thank you very much for today, Coach. Lovely.
Come on.
Danny, Charlie, nice one. Guys, thank you very much. Charlie, your Madrid, they go be here. Make you no shake. Next week, everything will change. That is a wrap, guys. Follow us on YouTube. Remember to put on the notification button and then like us, share, and then drop your comments. Let's have all the conversation, have all the fun. This is the Mallam Go podcast brought to you by Betway. Guys, thank you very much. We'll be back again next week, and we'll bring you some more exciting, conversation around the second league. Hopefully, by that time, the Real Madrid do some things. Cheers.